have to act if we want to live in a different world.
Yeah, let's party here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, just across the Mississippi from the gateway to the west, the St. Louis Arch. I'm Jared Deanna. Joining me once again, Ryan Sage, and our field correspondent, Lorette Nickel. Lorette Nickel's getting some great info and some insight down in the pits, in the hot pit area, so thank you to her. Ryan, we saw a great 32. I thought it was really exciting. It started out just like I'd expect after almost being a year off. Nerves, vehicle builds, maybe some things happening, some interesting calls from the judges, you know, that Ken Gucci thing. I also called Rome Charpentier, his vehicle a 4-door. That was clearly a 2-door. I don't know what I was envisioning, but regardless, the door opening, that going the way of Odi Bakshi's, that was interesting. What else? I mean, overall, 32, pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the tone was definitely I think kind of set by the oil in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you know, that proved to be problematic because we were running, you know, basically siding laps for every battle. However, once we kind of got going, you know, to me, I thought that the judges were really focusing on specific things, looking at the details, and that's really what you want from them. And now we've got ourselves a really cool top 16 bracket. We obviously saw some upsets there. We see Taylor Hull, for example, looking on fire, going into the top 16, beating Dean Carney. And there's our bracket there. So Kazuya Taguchi, Matt Field, and Justin Pollock will be doing battle for the first time today because they had the buys. They're going to be facing Jeff Jones, Dylan Hughes, and Taylor Hull, respectively. Outside of that, we've got some big matchups in the top 16. Vaughn Gittin Jr. versus Frederick Osbo, Chelsea Denofa versus Ryan Turk, and Daijiro Yoshihara versus Odi Bakshi's. I mean, this is an incredibly stacked field, and if it's anything like what we saw in Pro 2 last night, I think we're up for a pretty awesome day. Yeah,
I mean, I'm really gutted for Ken Gucci. I'm gutted for Rome. But this is, you know, like I said, your weekend's not done. Usually it's kind of like, all right, your weekend's done. We'll see you the next round. No.
See you a month from now.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see you 24 hours from now, hopefully, and you'll be in the top 16 because we're literally duplicating wash, rinse, repeat, or better yet, drift, rinse, and repeat, because we're going to be seeing a whole new basically breakdown for tomorrow and a whole new top 32, a whole new top 16, and an eventual winner, or is it going to be a repeat? Ryan, here's the track, here's the layout. What do you call this now? Because we call it Excel and D-Cell, but it's something different for 2020.
Well, this is the official track map with the red zone, so designating areas where the judges and chase drivers can expect lead drivers to have a change in momentum. You've got one at initiation, you've got one leaving outside zone 1. That's basically preparing for that transition to outside zone 2, where we expect some slowing. And then finally coming into that last section of the course, and we've been talking about it ad nauseum, but that last section, whether it's been an inside clip like last year or whether it's this outside zone, just because of the speed being carried from inside clip 1 through outside zone 3 has proven to be an area that is going to be much talked about and where a lot of incidents occur. So now that we have an idea of how the judges are looking at things, where these red zones are, it really informs us when we watch battles to say, okay, what happened there? Especially if there's a collision or a crash or something like that, we can go back to that and say, let me make a judgment based off of the information that we have.
Yeah, like you said, you took the words out of my mouth. That was going to be the next question, so I'm trying to think of another question to you. But I would say the track is very unassuming, and then a halfway point, as I'm calling it, the one and only front clipping point, that is kind of the deal breaker or the risk taker, because when you go towards that last final outside zone, that seems to be the widowmaker, if I may, because you see cars overshooting, they're coming in too hot. You're seeing those rookies kind of make a rookie mistake, and we're seeing that even from some of the vets. So yeah, overall, who do you think right now, if you were to say out of these top 16, who's in the final 4, for instance? All right, so Torque Drift, I guess we'll get to that in a moment, but Formula Drift events running this weekend. Torque Drift, download the app, play the game, and it's awesome tracks, always updated all the time. So Formula Drift events running this weekend. Go to Torque Drift, available for download on all of your mobile devices. Look it up, Torque Drift.
Yeah, I love those tracks.
So Ryan, 4 drivers, who do you think?
Who's going to be in the finals?
Yeah, who's going to be in the Final Four?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, it's, I think, a big battle that may set the tempo is going to be Gittin Osbo. I don't think we've really seen what the car can do. Osbo's car, that is, just yet. We know that Gittin's car, you know, they're building off of things that they've learned. This is a brand new chassis for Frederick Osbo. So I don't think we've seen everything out of that car just yet. Obviously, it's teammates on both sides, right? We've got Osbo, Gittin, and we've got Denofa and Turk, so battling it out there. I'm really interested to see Justin Pollock because he really had some strong moments last year, especially massive initiations, big angle, but still kind of maintaining that consistency. And you know, Matt Field's been working very hard on his program over the offseason. This is going to be the first opportunity that we get to see him. So is that an acceptable Final Four? I don't know. Any of these guys
I know,
really could make it to the finals.
If I looked at myself in the mirror right now, I don't know if I could pick the Final Four, but yeah, I mean, Gittin and Osbo, that's a tough path. Robbins and Dan Burket, I mean, fairly equally matched there. Just the way Robbins has been driving, the way Dan Burket has really progressed overall. But Turk and Deno, I mean,
the right-hand side of the bracket
stacked.
looks really, really difficult no matter which way you cut it. I mean, there's, you know, we saw some from Alec Robbins, some really great driving, but obviously this is his first year in pro. And Taguchi as well, we haven't had a chance to see where he's at this year. So I think there's more question marks on the left than there is on the right. The right is just stacked all the way around, and we've got a lot of information on those drivers.
Seeing, looks like Burket and Robbins there. Speaking of emotion, Taylor Hull getting really emotional right after he won. Lorette was with him, but seems that he's turned that, you know, not frown upside down, but he's dried his tears. He's excited. Michaelessa there, all our drivers getting pumped, and they're absolutely elated. So yeah, I mean, next stop for us is we're gonna have our opening ceremonies. We have our top 16. Our vehicles getting prepped. Cars look better than they ever have before because they've had a lot of time to prep, a lot of mental, you know, exercises going through them, not only just this weekend, but months and months of prepping. So I think it all contributes to really going for it, starting out the season and winning here on day one, round one of the Formula Drift Championship. Again, a whole new beginning of a round tomorrow. No qualifying. If you're just tuning in, we are live from Worldwide Technology Raceway, man. But let's take a look at some of the highlights here from top 32, trying to see exactly who that is. That looks like that is Masayama and Michaelessa. And Ryan, you talked about Masayama in FD Japan.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect from this battle, Jared, because Masayama is quite an X factor back home and a championship contender. How is he going to adjust to different kinds of tracks here in the United States? Obviously, it's no easy task to go up against a champion like Michaelessa in your first round in the top 32, but Essa was able to get by and move on into the top 16.
Forsberg and Adam LZ, welcome to Formula Drift Pro. Go against three-time champ Chris Forsberg, one of the most consistent drivers in the series. And Adam LZ did post up later on that he said, unfortunately, all his sensors got fried. He had an electrical issue, and the car missed all the limiters. So all the rev limiters, all these particular variables were out the window. So Adam LZ actually apologized to all his fans. Ryan, this one's interesting. Naren and Gittin.
Yeah, and just a little bit more backstory for those that didn't catch it in the top 32. Naren and Nelson both did not arrive until basically yesterday, so they missed the entire 5-hour practice that we had on Thursday for Pro and Pro 2. They were just now getting those cars kind of dialed in, warmed up, and going up against Vaughn Gittin Jr. when you don't have the practice is a tough time.
Joao Berrion coming all the way from Brazil, and like you said, that was a tough task just getting over here, but all the rights, all the clearances. He's got a new car, a new mentality, but the sheriff is back in town. But the Norwegian Hammer swung a little bit faster, a little bit heavier in a brand new car. Frederick Osbo got the win, and next stop for him is Vaughn Gittin Jr. Two champions going against each other. Monster versus Rockstar, Toyota versus Ford. It should be one for the books.
Yeah, and I got to say just one more thing on Joao. I thought he looked really solid in his kind of updated vehicle coming into this event. Denofa here looking pretty strong against Meyer. Eve We had a bit of a back and forth battle. It doesn't really seem like we have any drivers in this field this year that don't have a chance of making it deep into competition. There are really no gimmies in the top 32, right. And you can expect that that will continue with the likes of Ryan Turk and Farouk Huai going into the latter parts of the season. Yeah, Ryan Turk stepping right into that Toyota Corolla hatchback. We know it's a proven vehicle. That vehicle got second overall in the 2019 championship just behind James Dean, and that is another story with James Dean and Piotr, the Wordhouse Drift team, not coming over here, not jumping across the pond from Poland and Ireland to compete in the 2020 championship. But I liked how Ryan Turk looked, maybe gaining some confidence. Made pretty quick work of Farouk, and looking forward to Farouk dialing in that vehicle. He seems like he's always got a smile on his face. What the Farouk is what his shirt says. So Farouk definitely wants to, you know, see himself on the podium. So when we come back, the opening ceremony is here, round one of the Formula Drift Pro Championship Worldwide Technology Raceway. Jared Dean, Ryan Sage, and our girl on the ground, Lorette Nickel. When we come back, top 16 and our opening ceremonies. Furthest away from the start line where it's about to go down. Here are our top 16 drivers, round one of the Formula Drift Pro Championship with that gold nose and that BC Racing Nitto tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. It is Chelsea Denofa. Moving on down the line, he is ready to rock. Captain Clutch Kick, he is the RTR team captain and team owner behind the wheel of his Monster Energy Nitto tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Say hello to Vaughn Gittin Jr. Make some noise, Henry, for your boy, Vaughn Gittin Jr. Next up, moving on down the line, part of the Blackout gang. He is debuting his new car here. Look at that, shiny, pretty, dabbing on him in the royal purple BMW on Achilles tires from the Pacific Northwest. It is Dylan the Dozer Hughes. All right, moving on down to our next vehicle. It is the Gear Wrench Rad Industries Toyota Supra. Business up front, party out back. The mulleted one. Say hello to Rad Dan Burket. All right, we have a Formula Drift rookie in the building, coming to us from Minnesota in the Facetto Nissan 350Z. Formula Drift rookie on Achilles tires, Alec Robbins. All right, next up, we saw him get really emotional earlier today. Here he is in the top 16 with the Intimidator graphics. Looks like he is the bandit out to shoot to kill in that Comp Cam's Achilles tire Cadillac ATS-V. It is Taylor Full Pull Hole. Next, a former champion behind the wheel. He's debuting some new sponsors still on Achilles tires in the FCP Euro Liqui BMW. It is Michaelessa. Next, this signature teal and blue, originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan. His mom, dad, wife, and his son Jackson cheering him on back in Southern California in the Falcon tires. Lucas Oil Roush Performance Ford Mustang. It is JTP Justin Pollock. Just coming off Pikes Peak, your unlimited class winner. Now here he is in St. Louis, ready to turn and burn in the Turn 14 distribution. Falcon tires, Ineos Oil Turbocharged LS Subaru BRZ, former champ. It is Slide or Die Jiro Yoshihara. Coming to us from Japan, you gotta love this gentleman. He is back out in full vengeance in that Up Garage GT Radial S15. It is Kazuya Taguchi. Another former champion, three-time champion, as a matter of fact, in the NOS Energy Drink 370Z on Nexon tires. It is Chris the Force Forsberg. Another Nissan, but with that Edelbrock V8 under the hood, coming to us from Southern California. He is in that Doc
Edelbrock 370Z. Say peace to the one, the only Jeff Jones. Coming from California, but the Northern California variety from San Jose, the 777, the Beast from the Bay, the Falcon Tires, Pedal Commander Borla Corvette. It is Matt Field. Feel the heat wave from Matt Field. Rounding out the top 16, we got the twin Toyotas out back, debuting this brand new Toyota Supra, going full circle as the first time we saw him in Formula Drift competition. He drove old Chucky. Now he's got the latest, the greatest, the Rockstar energy drink. Toyota Racing, Toyota Supra on Nitto tires. It is Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo. And last but definitely not least, coming to us from New Hampshire, live free or die. He pilots this gum-out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. Nitto tires, wraps around those rotiform wheels. He's rocking the Rockstar hat. It's the Rockstar himself. Live free or die, Ryan Turk. There are your top 16 drivers. Are you ready to send it? St. Louis, make some noise. St. Louis. Shout out to Parker, Jet, Jason, Nicole, Stephanie, and the whole family watching at home, and you in the building. Thank you so much as Air Force for their support, both of the event and, of course, supporting what I truly believe is the best country in the world. So thank you so much. And, of course, want to thank, he's running the VR engine or a VQ, I can't recall. I know from last year. Don't know if he's changed it up, but Kazuya Taguchi, he is whipping that thing around. Kazuya will be leading. Jeff Jones will be chasing. So here we go. Taguchi Jones, our first battle of the Royal Purple Top 16, the official engine oil of Formula Drift. Taguchi initiates aggressively into that first outer zone. You see the attitude of the vehicle, that front left tire actually rip up into the sky. Jeff Jones dives in on the inside. Taguchi on that first and only inside clip, now into outside zone 3, feeling all of it. Jeff Jones falling back just a little bit now. Let's see how they handle that last outside zone. Taguchi gets all the way out to the edge of the course, the striped yellow section. Jeff Jones comes up just a bit short. Ball 4, take a walk. We'll see as Taguchi and Jeff Jones will alternate order, but we'll take a quick look at the replay. Ryan,
well, it's a great way to kick off the top 16, and Jeff Jones is continuing to be a very aggressive chase driver. Just like his top 32 battles, he dives right in on his opponent. He takes a little bit of a tighter line to keep proximity, and that caused him to go up on the rumble strip there. He got a little bit out of whack, but a great save by him. Little door tap right there against Kazuya Taguchi. Taguchi stays in it. Very silky, smooth style here,
right
and
there.
Beautiful on that outside zone. So strong lead run for Taguchi. It's setting a standard that Jeff is going to have to try really hard to recreate. In the chase position, Jones was pretty aggressive overall. He did make some mistakes, but they weren't critical. He went up on the rumble strip, and he came in tight here on a tighter line on that final outside zone. So it was a good way to start off the top 16. We saw a couple mistakes from Jones. Taguchi, solid lead run, but now it's Jones's time. He goes out to the lead. Can he match that lead run of Kazuya Taguchi, and what can we expect from Taguchi in the chase?
Yeah, it seems that Jeff Jones compromised a little bit of angle and gained that proximity, especially at that front clip. You saw him go off track, recalibrated himself, jumped back to the side of it. Like I said, not mimicking the angle, but definitely had it in close proximity. Here we go. Whoa! Shots fired across the nose. Jeff Jones going for the gusto there in that first outside zone, transitioning into zone 2. Now coming into that front clip, Jeff takes a wide swing, but tightens it back up. Kazuya Taguchi looks like he just went straight for it, and that is going to allow Jeff Jones to pull away and separate. Now Jeff Jones goes into that outside zone. Oh, and Taguchi comes to a halt. Now, Ryan, I did see Jeff go and exceed that outside zone, so essentially a little bit off track, but not a lot. Taguchi needs to just chill a little bit, and I think he would have kept the proximity, would have kept the angle, but he went hard in on that outside
he paced
zone.
him down the front straight right here, and he was able to get into the pocket, but super close on initiation, and he had to really tighten up his line. If he did not, he was going to go off course there. Very tight through that inside clip. Jones just flying through that third outside zone, smooth into the fourth. And Taguchi diving in, big angle there, and makes a critical mistake. It looks like Jones was maintaining momentum through that final outside zone. Let's take a look at it again.
Two different lines. Look at Jeff take that wide sweeping line, and Taguchi just keeps it very shallow.
He kind of had to because he was about to go up on the rumble strips, but on this final little section here, you can see Jones lets it float out a little bit. He does get on throttle a little bit late in that outside zone, so we'll have to see how the judges take a look at that. Remember, the decel area is basically prior to or right before and just a tiny bit of outside zone 4. So we know it's going to come into play. Outside zone 4 always has so far this weekend, Pro 2 and Pro Top 32. And once again, it causes another ruckus here against Taguchi and Jeff Jones.
That makes it exciting, right? Relentless Jeff Jones, Kazuya Taguchi. Would love to see. Jeff Jones has never podiumed at a Formula Drift event before. And if I'm trying to recall, I believe Taguchi has been on the box before in an S15, but we will see. Chris Ewell, Ryan Lantain, Brian Eggert, our 3 judges. Kazuya Taguchi in that GT Radial Up Garage S15. Jeff Jones, the Nissan 370Z. And we are waiting for the judges' verdict. One battle in. Do we have a victor, advancing them into the Great 8? So right now we're in the Royal Purple Top 16. Next up will be the Link ECU Top 8, the official engine management unit of Formula Drift. All right, still deliberating here, huh? And, oh wow, look at that. Judges want to see the last corner one more time to really just find out the deciding factor.
Why am I not surprised, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Now let's just walk through this systematically, because remember that red zone is right at the starting point of outside zone 4, right there, and then it stops. Now Jones is kind of letting it float here. He's letting it float. He doesn't really grab any e-brake. He's off course there, and then Taguchi is coming up quick, kind of has to pull out of it, and is not able to finish the run there. So the judges really want to see you use that decel zone correctly and be back on throttle to finish the run in outside zone 4. If you can maintain momentum through there, even if you're floating it out, I think that's fine, as long as the chase driver has an opportunity and it's a chaseable lead. So that's why I think the judges are looking at here. They want to make sure that the chase driver feels comfortable in being able to attack, knowing that the lead driver is pretty much following the criteria.
Okay, still deliberating here between our drivers. Some people messaging me and saying one more time. We will see. Let's find out. Do we have? It looks like we do have a verdict. Slide him left for Taguchi, right for Jones. Oh, look at this. Chris Ewell says Taguchi. Ryan Lantain says Taguchi. Taguchi gets the win. And Brian Eggert says one more time. So, Brian, you said one more time. Our 2 other judges, Chris Ewell and Ryan Lantain, says Taguchi. Have you conversed with Chris or Ryan, Brian Eggert, on why they sided with Taguchi? Because it seemed that Taguchi checked up in the middle of that outside zone 4.
Yeah, after talking with them, they kind of put it on Jones for kind of stalling up there, and he was late getting on the throttle. I kind of saw it as that it could go either way for those 2 guys, so I was going to want to see it again, because basically both of them had pretty both equal mistakes in chase, and so I can see where they went, and I was kind of leaning that way, but I think the overall call came out good, and I think the right decision was made.
And Brian, just on outside zone 4, like, when would you like to see the drivers get back on throttle after that red zone?
Probably about the time you see the first orange cone. I think if they float it coming into it and then get back on gas about that cone where the grass starts to show up, I think that's a good point to get on. He didn't get on well until we were probably about by the second green cone, probably.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, that's essentially almost not a brake check, but just a float check here as we're getting ready for our next battle. And we are seeing 2 former champs. These guys have a history back in yesteryear when Essa eventually won the championship. Here we are, Chris Forsberg, Michaelessa, and you can see the horsepower difference there. The BMW powered BMW keeps it true, and Nissan and a Nissan. Wow, look at that. No Frankenstein vehicles here as far as different manufacturer of engine 2 chassis. Michaelessa, Chris Forsberg. Essa will lead the FCP Euro Liquimale Achilles tire BMW. Very smooth, Michaelessa and Chris Forsberg. We'll see if he brings that X factor, but both very smooth drive. Look at that simultaneous initiation as Chris Forsberg brings into that first outside zone. There goes Michaelessa, silky smooth. wide swing, then brings it in, takes out that front clip. Both of them really shallow there. Now into that third outside zone. Chris Forsberg tucking into that Achilles tire smoke trail, and then into that outside zone for. You can see why these two gentlemen are champions. Smooth, no big major mistakes outside of that front clip. Looks like Essa hit it with the front right corner. Forsberg a little deeper, a little more shallow, taking, kind of centering it there on that chase run. Ryan, let's walk us through it again and see any, I mean, this is where we talk about those minimal mistakes standing out.
Yeah, I mean, both the guys pretty much initiating together. Chris was right on him from the outset, but Essa's leading an incredible lead run. Now, Chris is much tighter there. He's on a tighter line on that inside clip, and even though Essa does hit it, Chris was in a position where he should have been a little bit deeper. And right there, it was a great transition back around before outside zone 4. Let's take a look at it again.
Watch out
that Chris had in the chase position. But see, watch, Forsberg's going to be much tighter here on that inside clip, even though Essa is the one that was a little bit tight out front and he hit it first. Great job by Chris there on that transition back around. Essa leads him off track a little bit. They go a little bit too deep, but Chris does the right thing by following the line and trying to close proximity there through the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, even with Essa going a little bit off here and there, Forsberg really had a good job chasing him down. The proximity, mimicking the angle, I think that's what really shines here. Lead versus lead, chase versus chase. Forsberg will now be out front. That NOS energy drink, Nissan 370Z on next gen tires as Essa, whoa, look at that, Essa throws it hard into the side of the 370Z, does not hit him. When I say throw hard, just aggressive initiation, wraps it around that front clip, both of them wrapping around. You can see Michaelessa just barely nick it. Now coming into that final outside zone, there's Forsberg riding the edge, and Michaelessa loops it. So Ryan, let's take a look at this once again. Very interesting.
Well, it got a little weird there towards the end. Michaelessa was starting to surge, and it looks like he made a critical mistake. Very aggressive initiation, diving in from Michaelessa, really wanting to force the battle to Chris Forsberg. This time, Forsberg in his lead position, kind of late apex that inside clip, gets a gap on Michaelessa just slightly here, and then as Essa's surging forward, trying to attack, he has big angle in the car and cannot pull it all the way around. From the drone up top, you'll see the line that Forsberg takes, nice and tight on that inside clip, extending out a little bit further than Essa in terms of the lead comparisons, and then Essa right there, he may have got lost in the smoke and just transitioned a little bit too aggressively, was not able to hold it through the finish line, and it looks like it may be a critical error for Michaelessa in his chase run.
Yeah, I mean, just a great job by both these guys. These are just class act drivers, and what's great is we will see them again tomorrow in competition, and scores are in. Ryan, with that quick response, I have to assume they're going to go towards Chris Forsberg, slide him right for Forsberg, right for Essa, and there it is. Chris the Force Forsberg gets the win, advancing on to the Grade 8. He will go against Kazuya Taguchi, but Michaelessa, we will see you tomorrow, my friend, in that FCP Euro Liqui Moly Achilles tire BMW, as Chris Forsberg pulls away in that VR Power Nissan 370Z. He will see more action today, but we'll see Michaelessa tomorrow. And our next two pilots are on the line. That Facetto 350Z from Minnesota, Alec Robbins, and he will be going against Dan Burket. Rad Dan. There is how the bracket is shaping up. Liking the way this is laying out. Love the graphics. This is good. I always like the little tour guide here. The map of the playground. The map of the amusement park. The amusement park being Formula Drift. The Royal Purple Top 16, next battle, Alec Robbins versus Dan Burket. You can see Alec Robbins from Becker, Minnesota. Dan Burket originally from the Pacific Northwest, now living in Southern California. And Dan Burket will lead on this first run as he pulled the number 20 card. Alec Robbins picking the 29th. And here we go. Burket, ooh, almost hitting that cone, almost a restart, Ryan. The Gear Wrench, Rad Industries, Toyota Super, and there's Alec once again, very aggressive. I was impressed with his battle in the top 32, and look at this, Alec Robbins showing up, Dan Burket throwing some dirt gravel machine gun, and oh, Alec Robbins hooks it. Woo! Yes, sir.
You saw that building up, right?
Oh yeah, you're like,
that building up?
Uh-oh, here we go. I predict a riot. I predict a riot.
Man,
there you
Alec
go, man.
Robbins has come to play this weekend.
Come to fight.
He has definitely been one to watch, and in his first year coming out of Pro 2 is looking phenomenal. Obviously, we have a big wreck down here. It's going to go under the collision title, so we will obviously have to assess fault since it's run number 1, and there may be some additional time awarded depending on who is at fault for repair vehicles. But let's get to the battle at hand here. First run out, Rad Dan does drop that tire, makes a slight adjustment with the front wheels. Alec adjusts, and then he's surging there, and then right after the decel zone, you can see he's trying to save it. It's a tricky one.
Ryan, I was thinking Alec was aggressive again, but
well, watch Dan. If we can go back after we go through this, we'll really pay attention to the momentum and where Dan is trying to get back on throttle. Here's inside clip number 1. Both guys looking sweet here. Dan getting just one tire off. You can see the brakes there, and then the float. Here comes Robbins. He may have made that if there was not the collision, and obviously the timing for these guys, anticipation. This is one of those ones that's kind of in that, you know, could go either way type situation.
I mean, we've seen some guys, and I'm trying to recall, was it Dan against Reeder that, remember that in his first battle, he almost didn't drift across the finish line.
Right.
Dan Burket in his first battle.
Right,
he might
close.
be having issues there. I'm not saying Dan was going to straighten, was he going to loop it, but he had the lack of angle even on his first battle with Travis Reeder, and then you combine that with Alec Robbins being aggressive. That's where these perfect fiberglass and carbon fiber storms are coming from.
It could be that, and I think also too, you know, we have that camera shot on top of the roof here. It really gives a great perspective, and especially watching the wheels of the drivers. And Dan's are really easy to see because he's got the white rims. And remember, Brian Eggert just said, we'd like to see him get back on throttle right at that orange cone. Now Dan is floating it. He's still not really back on throttle, even before the contact. Now, I think Alec was kind of going off course.
Yeah.
He was coming up fast, but Dan was floating it out there and was not getting back on throttle way past the point where that is supposed to take place.
Yeah, you saw Alec, it seemed that Dan went off course. Alec was kind of adjusting and modifying his line, and he knew he needed to catch up. So watch, you see Dan pull away. Alec makes some adjustments, takes a little angle out of it to grip up, gain some ground, but he's like, oh dang, I'm gonna run into the back of him, or I'm gonna overcook it and go off course. Dan, like I said, look at the way the car is pointed. Does he have the power to kind of power all the way from there, all the way out there? He was going off track, not as far as Alec was, but then you combine Alec going into the side with Dan kind of, you know, was it a scenario of Jeff Jones floating it maybe a little too much?
Well, it's fresh in our mind. We just saw, you know, a similar incident here where we saw a driver kind of floated out way past the point of where the judges want to see you get back on throttle. He was penalized for that. In this case, it looks similar. It was really easy to see that that Dan was not getting back on throttle way past the point that he's supposed to, but at the same time, Alec was coming up really fast, and it looked like the car was pointing like it was going off track. So this can be a tough one for the judges. Perhaps it's going to be shared fault.
Okay, so we'll find out from the judges. Very interesting. Already getting exciting. Only 3 battles into the Royal Purple Top 16, the official engine oil of Formula Drift, and we are seeing Vaughn Gittin Jr. pull up to the line. So we'll assess that and get some finality to, not finality, but halfway finality. I don't know if that's a thing. Halfway personality, cult of personality. As Vaughn Gittin Jr., Frederick, Osbo, we can see it in Alec Robbins' pit. That Facetto 350Z of Alec Robbins. Looks like he's staying in the car. They're going to make sure everything's running good, running fine. I know he was having some hydro lock with his vehicle the other day. Okay, so Ryan, next battle here in the Royal Purple Top 16, 2 champions, Vaughn Gittin Jr., Frederick Osbo. Vaughn Gittin Jr. from Baltimore, Maryland, and Osbo from Norway, as Vaughn Gittin Jr. in that Ford Mustang, Frederick Osbo in his brand new Toyota Supra. We'll go back to Robbins and Burket in just a little bit. And Vaughn Gittin Jr. will lead, Osbo giving chase in the first run of this Top 16 battle. This one should be fun, Ryan. Like you said, we've only seen one battle with Osbo and this Toyota Supra, and Vaughn says, love all the variability that you can just basically modify this vehicle. Here we go into that first and only, oh, that's a wide swing, Ryan, but both are bringing on back. Massive angle from Vaughn Gittin Jr. now into that final outside zone. Wow, punting that cone out of the way. Really well done. That was an exciting run, man, and that was a great way to finish.
Yeah, starting to see some of that really tight, close action, especially towards the end when they bunch up. And let's take a look at this. Vaughn out front first. He's going to get that snappy initiation. Osbo right with him, pretty much on the same line. Osbo slightly tighter line on outside zone 2, but super close on proximity. Keeping it close to Vaughn Gittin Jr. as Vaughn transitions from outside zone 3 to 4. He's going to go just, he's going to go 2 tires off, way off in that last outside zone. And I was just texting with Ryan Lantain saying, hey, are these guys floating it out too far? He says they're going too fast from outside zone 3 to 4 and they're overshooting it. They need to slow down and transition better into outside zone 4. And it seems like that thinking can almost overcome you when you're trying to run as quickly as you can to the finish line, is making sure you don't overshoot that outside zone.
It's a good angle right here.
And here's it, yeah, this is a beautiful angle. You're really gonna see how far off Vaughn is. He's almost to the edge of the track there, which is about 6 or so feet. So really, really tough part of the course. And you can see why we always talk about that final turn to the right.
Yeah, to the right?
To the left.
I mean, look,
well, depends on where you're standing, I guess.
Yeah, I've made plenty of mistakes today. It's all right. But you know who didn't on that last turn, man? Kudos to Frederick Osbo. He kept that proximity, but he kept it a little shallower than Vaughn. That was a great move there. But let's see how Vaughn does. He's got the chrome nose in that rear view mirror. Oh, Osbo. Nasty flick into that first outside zone, transferring into the second outside zone. Both of them taking that wider line. Going to carry more speed and more momentum into the outside zone 3. There's Vaughn Gittin Jr. Here we go, up to the side. It looks like Osbo goes a little further this time.
They're all doing it. They're all doing it. It's wanting to finish that run out of outside zone 3.
I'm going for it, and then, okay, chill.
It works perfect in practice, but in tandem, I think the mindset kind of shifts away, and you obviously don't want that guy to slam into. It's like a perfect recipe of potential disaster, but a huge snap to initiation. Great to angle there by Osbo. Vaughn trying to tie him down, and he does get super close to that back bumper, but Osbo on the accelerator pulls ahead on outside zone 3. Big angle into this final transition. Here comes Vaughn through the smoke line, and Osbo as well goes well off to the outside zone, and now we've got a little bit of collision there towards the, I mean, that was right at the finish line, looks like, where they bumped each other. But let's see this crossover here. They're gonna be driving towards us, coming out of outside zone 3. Osbo screaming into this final outside zone. And there he's good on the first part of the outside zone, but the second one, he goes 2 tires off. It wasn't as extreme as Vaughn, so that's something that the judges have to work with there. But that opening did allow Vaughn to close proximity, and you have that little bit of contact.
2 runs completed. Only 1 man will move on. Do we have a victor? Are they going one more time? We still will go back to Burket and Robbins. Almost halfway through our top 16. Judges still delivering. Ryan, I like how you text Lantain and asked him that, and that was a good good insight. And I think all the judges would agree that going into that outside zone, you know, you want to finish strong, but not too strong.
Intuitively, it makes so much sense, though, right? Like you want to get as far away from your opponent as you can, but in this particular track, especially towards the end, it's a kind of a fine line and a balance of what you should be doing. And another example of it here, not as extreme, but the judges want to see this one more time. Osbo, that snappy, really crazy initiation, looking so stylish. Vaughn trying to chase him down. You can see that separation. Now Vaughn tucks up on the inside. That's a great move for him because he follows Osbo's line perfectly towards the end, as Osbo does go off course as well. So remember, we're looking at the lead runs from both drivers, the chase runs from both drivers, comparing those, and then who did better overall, and can we find a winner here, or is it a one more time?
Man, still deliberating here, Ryan. Saw you. What's up? I don't, like, dude, still don't have a verdict. And we still will get some, oh, here we go. Vaughn Gittin Jr., slide him left for Vaughn, slide him right for Osbo. Looks like Chris Yule says Frederick, as does Lantain. Frederick Osbo in that brand new Toyota Supra advances on. So Osbo gets the win.
There was
Brian?
a one more time vote up there for Brian.
Yeah, Brian Eggert said one more time, so it was not unanimous. But you agree with that call?
Yeah, I think so. I think Osbo was much stronger in the chase overall in terms of proximity. He did go off course in his lead run, but Vaughn did as well. And so in terms of that comparison, you could see how it would go on the edge of Osbo.
Yeah, no, it's an exciting run there. Congratulations for Osbo, you know, debuting that new car. Vaughn Gittin Jr., I mean, that could have gone either way. Like we said, the one more time. So I'm going to throw it down to Lorette Nichols. She is with one of our Grade 8 drivers, moving on to that Link ECU Grade 8.
First time ever advances into the Grade 8. Congratulations. There were some big changes for you during the off-season. Talk to us about those.
Okay, so we got new tires for this car, and this year, this is a GT Radial new tire. This tire is made in USA. Also, we got a new three-way coilover made by Yellow Speed Racing. Yeah, those parts great help for us. Also, we have only 27 drivers and team. I think we're supposed to be over 30 drivers, right? A lot of talent driver couldn't come this season and this stage. James Dean, Peter, also Daigo, Shinji Minowa from Japan. Yeah, I'm very sad. But yeah, they have no choice during this situation. Anyway, we will do our best, each team. Yeah, can't wait to drive next battle. Yeah.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you so much, Lorette Nickel. Congratulations, Kazuya Taguchi, as he moves on, talking about all his components that are equating to him advancing on. He's going to have to go against Chris Forsberg. We can see right there. Frederick Osbo waits to see who he's going to be going against. As you can see, Osbo one down there, as opposed to Burket and Alec Robbins. Now, Ryan, I heard you talking to our judges and our race officials, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Burket was actually at fault there, so he had to call a competition timeout to put hands on his car.
Yep, you got it exactly right. The judges gave Burket the fault there for the collision that happened that stopped the run, and so obviously that is going to put him at a big disadvantage here against Alec Robbins.
Okay, so Alec Robbins, he got to put hands on his car, but not docked his competition timeout. So Burket utilized his competition timeout. He's back up and running. Here's the second half of this battle. So a disadvantage for Rad Dan. Alec Robbins, currently, I would say, is leading rookie of the year because he's the only rookie still in it. Yeah, making sure and looking at my bracket here. Yeah, he is. So here we go, the second half of this battle. Alec Robbins will now lead Dan Burket in that chase position. Alec Robbins initiates. Robbins shotguns out of that first outside zone. Whoa, buddy, tires, tires, tires. Making it rain, and Robbins comes out swinging that vehicle front, back, side to side. Holy cow. Turn it off, making sure he's okay. I can see his head turning in there as Dan Burket continues on. Wonder what happened there, Ryan. I wonder if maybe there was a suspension component or if he just came out way too hard. I mean, seems to be the trend with Robbins. He is one speed, just fast.
Well, let's kind of set the tone here. Remember, we Coming into the run, we were alerted that Dan Burket was at fault for the collision, so that would give him essentially a 0 for his lead run. Now Alec, really all he has to do is kind of finish this lead run without making any big incomplete mistakes. Burket looks like he's getting a little bit out of hand, but Robbins makes an independent mistake out front as the lead driver. So what's going to happen here, because we've got 2 lead incompletes as I see it, that would mean a one more time and kind of a gift to Dan Burket to do it one more battle with Alec Robbins.
Yeah, I mean, Robbins just needed to finish the run on a decent line to go through the course. I mean, even if Burket had a decent run, even a really phenomenal chase run, look at that, he's just driving away. The tires did their job. Seems that he bounced off and just ricocheted, glancing or slamming into those tires. So as a shout out to Jason and Tony there in Riverside. Thanks for watching from the old Club O. Right, look at that. Robbins makes his way back to the finish line. Burket and Robbins, are we going to go one more time? Like you said, Ryan, I would have to assume so, and there it is, making it official. One more time from Chris Yule. Lantain, one more time, and regardless of what Eggert says, is it unanimous or did he choose a side? No, it is unanimous. One more time, but again, majority rules. So one more time for Robbins and Burket. Like you said, Burket was just handed a gift. I mean, Robbins, yeah, that's pretty crazy. So, all right, so as these 2 gentlemen pull off, we'll see one more time from them. Laurent Nickel is with Daijiro Yoshihara.
I'm smiling under the mask, and it's so difficult. Yeah, I know, smiling too, because we're back. And Daijiro Yoshihara, congrats at your win at Pikes Peak for the unlimited class. That was amazing. But focusing here in St. Louis, what is your strategy?
Well, there's no strategy, to be honest. This is the first round, and you know, we ran this same layout last year. Honestly, it's not the easiest track. So yeah, just step by step, I'm trying to go harder and harder. Especially, I had a little issue with the car Thursday practice. I couldn't get that much practice runs. So I'm still trying to get comfortable with the track. But you know, for sure, I feel much comfortable than this morning. And I'm going up against Odie, which is you know, I know how he drives and all that stuff. So I can just do my best and try to beat that guy.
Hey, Dai, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jared.
Thank you, Lorette. Thank you, Daijiro Yoshihara. Again, congratulations on your Pikes Peak Unlimited class victory. We'll take a short break. When we come back, field will be leading. As Matt Field will lead, Dylan Hughes will give chase. Getting ready to send it here for the first run of this battle. Thumbs up. Sopa on the ropa, hitting the button. Lights on. And there they go. Dylan Hughes might have getting jumped off the line. Not jumped, but a gap already created out of the gate in that first outside zone 1. Now transitioning into 2. Here comes Dylan Hughes. Now you can see he's gaining some ground. Can he maintain it though? Wide swing into the outside zone 3. Couple car lengths between them. Now coming into that very tricky scenario and situation. Dylan Hughes gets to the side of him. Looks like Matt Field slams up that hill. Want to take a look at this again. Was there contact, or they just rocket up at that? Because you got to imagine they go from flat up to that bank.
There's definitely that you know, really tough kind of wall-esque transition up to the bank, but I think there was some contact there. And you know, we talked about the start, Jared. Like, you really can't skip a beat in this game. Look at the great jump that Matt Field got out. He's almost through that outside zone by the time Dylan is just about halfway through it. But amazingly, Hughes catches up to him pretty quick on that inside clip. The Field gets back on it. Look at this, Hughes is closing the door. This is where we've seen so much action. Great job by Matt Field to fill that outside zone, and then Dylan coming up really strong and fast. Just makes contact with him past the finish line. Watch this right here, Jared. You'll see as Field comes back around. It's a nice transition there. He's back on throttle right there. He holds it out, but you could see that Hughes was really coming up fast there from about the second or maybe third cone from the finish line.
Oh man, come on guys. Let's. Oh man, Field's car taking a big whack here. So Dylan coming out, you know, obviously Field leading. Dylan comes out, taking a look at the line. And man, these guys getting aggressive. This is what I would expect here in top 16, just going for it. But Ryan, like I said earlier, you have to think strategy here. You got 2 rounds. Do you risk it to get the win here this weekend and call it a wash, or do you just go for it all out? Like, I mean,
I don't know how it's possible for, you know, professional athletes to temper, you know, themselves
Right.
over the course of a championship event. But obviously there has to be some consideration for that. And what's happening right now is, even though the run was over, the judges are going to give fault, so that way if repairs need to be made, one person may have to call a competition timeout where the other person does not. So that'll be a factor in the overall consideration, and that's why we're seeing the NGK competition timeout being taken, and that must mean that there is going to be one of the two needing to fix their vehicle. So let's verify that. But obviously with Dylan Hughes and Matt Field having that compression after the finish line, it's not going to have any impact on the judging, but it'll have an impact on the protocol.
right, right. All right, our NGK competition timeout. Thank you to NGK as we're trying to find out what is transpiring here. It's a great time to talk about NGK. In addition to providing spark plugs for domestic and import vehicles, NGK produces spark plugs for motorcycle, power sports, marine, and outdoor power equipment. NGK also offers complementary ignition product lines, including ignition coils, resistor caps, spark plug wires, and high-performance cables. For reliable performance, trust NGK, the ignition specialist. Visit ngksparkplugs.com to learn how NGK is redefining the category with high ignitability technology through its ruthenium HX spark plugs. Wow, look at that. That is a big hit there.
And we just saw
Ain't
the
no love
spotter
tap.
from Dylan Hughes.
That's his dad.
Kind of signal that is the car okay, and he kind of gave a thumbs up. So I think
He got him in the right spot.
I think this may become immaterial because from what I can understand, Lorette has been down there. Let's see if she's got some more insight to what's happening down in the hot pits.
All right, well, Dylan Hughes is down here. You saw the damage to his passenger side car. Right now, he's on the radio to his spotter, his dad, Chris Hughes. And I'm not going to interrupt this dialogue right now. They're discussing what's happening while they're waiting for the judges. But again, all the damage is on the passenger side of Dylan's car. His body language to me, he's very frustrated. His arms are crossed. He is in a safe spot in his car. But again, just looking for a cue from Dylan to look at me that we can interview him. But at this point, I'm going to say that he just needs to have that conversation with his spotters and wait for the judge's view. So guys, back up to you.
Yeah, we're chuckling there. That's an unenviable position right now. We're taking a look at the replay here of Matt Field leading, Dylan Hughes giving chase.
The fact, let me just point this out real
please.
quick, Jared. The fact that Dylan got a late jump and was behind Matt Field, if this goes against Matt Field, let's listen to this. Listen for throttle. See, Field drops off there at the finish line. Now, I wonder if Field is thinking that, you know, that's what I'm told to do. I'm supposed to slow down at the finish line, but it was very, very abrupt there. And I think that might be the frustration from Dylan is, you know, Matt didn't kind of smoothly finish through the finish line. He got off the gas very abruptly there. And I think that's possibly why Dylan may be frustrated. Now it's for the judges to make the call, and I'm hearing over the comms now that they are going to give fault to Matt Field. And the only implication that that's going to have here is whether or not Matt Field needs to repair his vehicle. It will not have an impact on the run because we're past the finish line and the run had already transpired. So the run will be judged as is. It's really just about mechanical protocol at this point.
Yeah, it seems that Dylan, you know, where he took his blunt force trauma there was on the door, and yeah, Field, we will see. Chelsea Denofa warming up his tires. Denofa and Turk, you can see Turk waiting to enter into the burnout box. Chelsea Denofa already went through Eve Meyer. Ryan Turk battled Farouk, and there goes Chelsea off to the start line. Making his way from the center of the course, just past the traditional pits, and now going to the start line. That BC Racing Nitto tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR.
Yeah, that was really odd. I'm glad that it happened after the finish line, because quite honestly, it would be horrible to have to give one of those guys an incomplete. I'm glad we don't have to do that.
Right.
Now the only question is, will Matt Field need time to fix his vehicle? Looking up here from the tower, I can't really see his position in the hot pit, so I haven't really seen much movement from their team.
All right, here is the Royal Purple Top 16, our next battle. Chelsea Denofa, Ryan Turk, two veterans of the sport. Denofa from Philly, Turk from New Hampshire, so two East Coast kids ready to battle in their brand new 2020 hot rods. There is the brand new ride for Ryan Turk, the Toyota Corolla hatchback, specifically the Gum Out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. He's on Nitto tires. Both these guys, it's an all Nitto battle here. As we saw all Nitto, Osbo and Gittin, but Osbo coming out on top. We'll see if the other RTR Mustang can advance, or is Ryan Turk gonna try to put them in their place? Chelsea Denofa will lead Ryan Turk in the chase position. You can see the lights in between the two vehicles. Once they extinguish, they can leave the line. Good pace there from Ryan Turk, leaving about the same time. Chelsea Denofa fulfilling all of that first outside zone, transitioning into two. Ryan Turk center punching that inside clip. Big wide, big angle from Chelsea Denofa, and Ryan Turk gets choked up a little bit, but still stays in it. Definitely could have gone south real quick, Ryan. Let's take a look at it again.
Drivers that are center punching that inside clip, Jared, really starts right around or before outside zone 2, doesn't it? Just you really need that correct line. Ryan Turk did get a great jump, and he sticks with them through that outside zone. That looks so beautiful there, but so you can see Turk is on the inside line there. Then he pushes into inside clip number 1, nearly center punching it. Denofa flying through outside zone 3 into 4. And as you come into this final section, this time no mishaps there in the outside zone leading up to the finish line. But let's see it from this other angle here. You can see that as Ryan crosses over, he's going to center punch that inside clip, nearly gets it caught in the wheel well there. As we come into this final section, Turk is right there closing the door, but Denofa is able to stick to a good line, stay on throttle, and get through that finish line cleanly.
Yeah, man, that outside zone 4 is just the junkyard, man. Everybody is just getting into a tussle.
It's like a no good answer section, you know,
right.
metaphorically.
It's just a mosh pit, man. Like, yeah. Here we go. Ryan Turk will lead. Chelsea Denofa giving chase now. Let's see how they fare. See if they can keep their cars together. Tomorrow, round 2, same destination. Same drift time, same drift channel. Ryan Turk transitions into that second outer zone. Chelsea Denofa looks like he is keeping the pace. Both of them taking out that front clip. Ryan Turk obviously leading, so he takes it, removes it out of the way, and here comes Chelsea Denofa. Oh man, that outside zone 4 is just the Achilles heel for everybody, man. Just figuring it out, because you really got to time it perfectly to transition in.
Yeah, this is a tough one here. Drivers on both sides of the coin made some mistakes here, but let's look at Ryan Turk's lead. He does a great job staying and filling that entire outside zone 1. Outside zone 2 is great as well. This time Ryan in the lead position hits that inside clip, and you can see that he's really trying to floor through this section to get the braking right. And look, he does get on the throttle at the right time there. That's a great example, Jared, especially with those white wheels, of how to do that outside zone. Denofa trying to stay close to Turk through this inside clip. He was also following the tight line that Turk was as well, and that's what he should be doing. But right here, he comes up a little bit short. Wasn't able to close the door all the way. And this is a tough one. It's hard to know what direction the needle is going, the scale, or if indeed we might see a run that's too close to call here.
Man, waiting for the verdict here. Ryan Turk, Chelsea Denofa. Both cars coming out unscathed, no damage to the vehicles. Let's see what we got. Ryan Turk, shout out to the race service boys. See you guys on Thursday for Hot Wheels Legends. If you hadn't seen it, Chelsea Denofa, Vaughn Gittin Jr., their Type S video, really cool. Definitely check that out. Chelsea Denofa joining the M-Claw, and it looks like here we are one more time from Chris Yule. Ryan Lontaine says Chelsea Denofa, and Brian Eggert says one more time. So here we are. It is a one more time battle between these gentlemen. So majority rules, they're going at it again. So Ryan Turk joins the Papadakis Racing team. So let's take a deeper and our judges getting set up. And here we go. Looks like just a little hush falls over the crowd here in the building and online. Hashtag FDSTL. Royal Purple Top 16 continues. Another one more time here with Burket and Robbins. There's Robbins. Man, shaken, not stirred. Oh, and Robbins looks like he falls out of power band and coasts his way through the course. And Dan Burket, another gift towards him. He needs to continue on with the course. And there it is. He will have an advantage over there over Alec Robbins, unfortunately for him in his Facetto 350Z.
That was a great start, though, by Robbins, really putting the pressure on. Unfortunate what just transpired there. And as we get a look at it one more time, we'll see if we can dive into this in any detail. A beautiful approach on initiation. He has to pull out of it, but then it shuts the car down. Oh, and man, don't you want to see the second half of that run. Now, Burket, as a lead driver, does need to finish. Strolling through the park, so to speak. And you see that, Jared, how much earlier he got on the throttle there after the beginning of outside zone 4. That's what the judges want to see. And during the downtime, we did get an official protest from Jeff Jones's team. It was reviewed and denied, but it was all about that outside zone 4.
Zone 4 seems to be rearing its ugly head. Now, take that into consideration. We have a full action-packed day tomorrow for round 2, so it bears repeating because we'll be back here again, same drift time, same drift channel, exactly the same schedule as today, but I can guarantee it's not going to be the same battles, not going to be the same, I don't want to say outcome, because we could see a repeat customer if you put it together, but the vehicles taking quite a few hits, quite a few blows here, but continuing on. Alec Robbins, we'll see if his car is 100%. Wonder what happened. Did he miss a gear? Something happened. Misfire. I know he was telling me earlier today his fuel, it's causing it to lock up when he goes to initiate. Maybe that issue is coming back, but Alec Robbins, like you said, Ryan, just very aggressive, and as is Burket in that chase position. The party out back, that's what it says on his wing. That's what it says with his hairstyle. There's that wide swing again from Alec Robbins, but with that big deficit, Dan Burket might want to use some strategy here and chill out.
Careful, careful, careful. Oh, he just gave it back. I think he just gave it back. This is the exact same scenario as last battle, except for flipped.
Right, it's chase runs, right? Because Alec Robbins stalled in the chase, so now it comes down to leads.
We may not see it one more time, though, just because
lead versus lead, chase versus chase.
Yeah, the leads have been out there, but remember, we saw leads that incompleted the last time around, and that's why we guaranteed a one more time. This one does not, so we're going to be looking at the lead run comparisons here to see if we can determine a victor, because I'm pretty much going to go out on a limb and say that right there is an incomplete for Dan. He was way overextended and then had to pull almost all the angle out of the vehicle before the finish line. So these guys are giving gifts to each other, and we're unable to find a victor. But I think depending on which way it goes, we may want to just look at those lead runs independently, because that's what the focus of this is going to be right now for the judges. They're going to want to see those lead comparisons, because that's the only thing we have to go off of in terms of judged runs, since both drivers were not able to complete their chase runs.
We're going into take a look at the side-by-side here. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. BC Racing side-by-side.
So let's just watch the
Go
leads,
for gold.
Jared. Let's see. Let me see what you think here. Who's got the better of the leads between these two drivers? Dano's a little bit shallow in outside zone 2. Tire
Robbins
drop
going a little
there
deep.
by Robbins. Maybe this is a one more time.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty close.
It's pretty close.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. You're right. All right, that BC Racing side-by-side instant replay, the official suspension of Formula Drift. BC Racing, go for gold. Ryan, the tension mounts here. The plot thickens, the sun is setting. We already have a few drivers in. Remember, Field and Hughes were only halfway through that battle. Denofa and Turk a one more time. We basically still only have 3 drivers in the Great 8 because the one more time here between Robbins and Burket do not have a victor there. Scores are in, Ryan. One more time. What do you say? Oh, Alec Robbins gets the vote from Chris Yule. Ryan Lontaine says one more time, and Brian Eggert says one more time. A second one more time. Oh, boy. So there is another one more time. Unbelievable. What's up, Cletus McFarland watching? What's up, Freedom Factory?
This is the attrition part, correct?
Wow. Attrition. Man, I need some nutrition. I'm getting tired up here. These guys are just, I mean, we're getting tired, but these guys are going for it. It's hot. It's definitely heated up from yesterday to today, and it is definitely a factor. So here is the second half of this battle. Ryan, did we figure out who was at fault between Matt Field and Dylan Hughes exactly? So I believe Matt Field was at fault. He came to a halt.
It will not have an impact on any aspect of judging, though,
Right.
because it was past the finish line. So
Got
we'll
it.
be just taking that run as it came.
As far as damage, and that was what you can do and not get docked anything.
All it was happening there was ascertaining fault because we had damage and we need to figure out who needed to use a competition timeout and who did not.
I always love when you use the word ascertain. It's a good word.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Here we go. Dylan Hughes, Matt Field, second half of this battle. Dylan Hughes will now lead. A little bit of damage to both cars, but hopefully not their driving style. Definitely not. Right into the gate. Dylan Hughes, you can see that door ding. More than a door ding, a door bash. Dylan Hughes, royal purple BMW. Matt Field center punches with that Falcon Tires Corvette. Let's see how they handle this transition into that final outside zone. Matt Field, again, seeing that angle, we've seen the front on. I like to see the overhead to see where they position their cars. Man, the cockpit absolutely filled with smoke.
Well, if it's not fresh in your memory, we maybe go back and revisit the first run. But here is the second. Dylan Hughes deep into that outer zone. Field, good mirroring job there. Transitions, a little bit tighter line there. Wide sweeping turn here from Dylan Hughes. Matt Field hits that inside clip, but keeps the distance close to Mr. Hughes, who this time fills that zone very strongly and in the right line. And Matt Field was on a bit of a tighter line there in outside zone 4. So drivers are certainly taking note of what has happened in previous battles in outside zone 4. And here it is right here. Hughes, nice job on that outside zone and a bit tighter there on the line side of things for Matt Field. I would imagine for a quick refresher, the judges are going to want to see at least that first half, or maybe even a side-by-side of run 1 and run 2 to get the comparison. But man, another tough battle here.
Yeah.
It's only 5:27.
All right, so as Field and Hughes wait, both of them sustaining some damage. We'll see if it's all for naught for one of these drivers. Are they going one more time? We've seen, now we're gonna see a second one more time from Robbins and Burket. This is the second half of the Field versus Hughes. We saw Denofa and Turk, they're going one more time as well. we are bouncing around this top 16 bracket. Laurent Nichols, she's got her hands full down there. I can hear her. She is wrapping out with a lot of the drivers, the crews, the teams. Ryan, the tension mounts, the clock is ticking. You wonder if what the scenario is.
Yeah, I think the judges do want to see at least the first half of this battle just to get a fresh look at it. Obviously, the big outcome from that run was the collision from Hughes in the chase position, of which Matt Field was given fault for that. And we went through the process of everybody fixing their vehicles, doing all that fun stuff, and now to the second half.
Still waiting for the judges. All right, scores are in, Ryan. Slide them left for Field, right for Hughes, and there it is. One of the judges, Chris Yule, going with Dylan Hughes. Ryan, and Dylan Hughes gets the win. Dylan Hughes gets the victory here. And that royal purple BMW, and it was unanimous, so let it be noted, Dylan Hughes gets the win and advances on into the top grade 8, into that grade 8 here in the royal purple top 16. Will advance into the Link ECU grade 8. All right, so let's throw down to Laurent Nichols, who's with the winner of the last heat.
Alec Robbins, this has been a crazy, crazy battle for you.
Yeah.
2 one-more times with Rad Dan, some damage sustained.
Oh yeah, a lot of damage.
And you're already thinking about tomorrow, so is it too much to process?
There's a lot going on. You know, we had, it's been, just a roller coaster of emotions coming up just into our first battle, and having to go one more time and trying to battle with the car. We've had issues and running into other issues, and it's a lot going on. So yeah, we're holding together though. So.
What are the issues that you're dealing with right now?
So our first battle with Dan Burket, we made a little collision in the first corner. We thought we had it fixed. We bent a tie rod, made a little tie rod adjustment, and it turned out the bash bar was actually bent. So when we went on our second run, as we made a transition from that first outer into the first inner clip, the wheel caught on the bash bar, and it just, instead of being a quick, fast transition and right into the next corner, it kind of drew it out and made it lazy, and that just sent us into the tires. So, yeah, unfortunately. And then our second one there, the car died out on us again on our follow. So. Yeah.
All right, well, Alec Robbins is doing battle, guys. Back up to you.
Thank you, Laurent, and we have our vehicles on the start line. Looks like Chelsea Denofa is backing up here to maybe heat cycle his tires. We're ready to send it down there. These 2 Nitto Tire pilots. You can see Chelsea Denofa with that gold nose, BC Racing, Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Looks like Ryan Turk will be backing up as well, maybe throwing some more heat into them, as that's the ideal scenario, is go to the burnout box and then pull right up. So there's running some heat through the tires.
You'd be surprised how long the heat stays in those tires.
Right.
It's about like 4 minutes.
Yeah. So here we go. Chelsea Denofa, this is the one more time battle between Chelsea Denofa and Ryan Turk. We saw the OMT from them earlier. Ryan Turk says he needs to be a little more aggressive. We'll see if he does and steps up to his prediction or calling himself out. Here we go. Denofa into that first outside zone. Ryan Turk in the chase position. Takes a little bit of shallower line there, Ryan Turk, as Denofa into the second outside zone. Turk doesn't get out to that second outside zone, does take out that first front clip. Chelsea Denofa throws up some dirt. Now, the all too ominous, Denofa loops it independently. Ryan, a huge mistake by Denofa, and I don't know if you, again, take a look at it. Turk was not putting the car in the right places. So lead versus lead, chase versus chase, not a good chase run from Ryan Turk.
I think you hit on something solid there, and this is, one of those situations where if Denofa holds out, looks like he's got a pretty good advantage here, because look how tight Turk cut the line. And Denofa did go wide in outside zone number 2, but he did late apex the inside clip. He's getting a little bit wild here. Turk dives in on the inside. He makes a kind of a mistake in his transition, but luckily he wasn't coming flying, because Denofa, not able to hold the angle there, spins out in front of him.
That is a huge advantage for Ryan Turk. He was absolutely gifted there by Chelsea Denofa's mistake.
Let's see if we can get a good grasp. Is it just too hard on the flick back? Yeah, it looks
Just
like the
comes
flick back
unbound.
came a little bit unwound there and did not have the traction or the right angle in terms of the direction that he was going to push it all the way through. So that's a big gift for Ryan Turk, and you have to think, you know, what his spotter is telling him now. He's at a big advantage in the lead position. So this is basically like, don't mess this up, Ryan. You got this, and you're moving on into the grade 8.
If I know Chelsea, man, he's going to risk it. And we
Yep.
talked about that strategy going into tomorrow. Chelsea Denofa, he's going to try to stick it to the door and push Ryan Turk through this course and maybe forcing him to make a mistake out front. But he gets that clean air, and there it is. That's exactly what I expected from Chelsea Denofa. But Ryan Turk says he needs to be aggressive. Calm your nerves, get through the course. If you put it in the right places, you will survive to see going into the grade 8, and Ryan, it looks like that is the case. I think Chelsea Denofa tempered that a little bit. He turned down the heat, says, hey, you know what? I made that mistake. I'll own it. Tomorrow, let's look at rocking some donuts there after the finish line. Ryan, you know, I'd love Lorette to actually talk with Chelsea Denofa after this.
She probably will, and I'm sure we're going to get a very candid response from Chelsea Denofa about what transpired there. Obviously, these are two veterans and two championship contenders in their own right, and you know, Denofa's got to be kicking himself here that he was not able to get a battle that would really be judged and put into the hands of the judges where there were no major incompletes or big mistakes made. But unfortunately, Ryan Turk was able to kind of hold it through on this run. No big mistakes from him, and with that spin from Denofa in his lead run, that's going to be the end of the day.
Yep. All right, so we'll make it official here. Turk and Denofa. Ryan Turk will be going against Dylan Hughes, another blackout boy. Yeah, pretty straightforward, waiting for the judge's verdict, waiting for them to type it in. Ryan, wait a minute, are we actually, yeah, we're more than halfway through the top 16. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers with this verdict. Slide them left for Denofa, right for Ryan Turk. And there you go, Chris Ewell says Ryan Turk, Lontaine, and there you go. So it will be unanimous. Ryan Turk gets the win. He'll be going against Dylan Hughes in that top link, the top 8 Link ECU, the official engine management unit of Formula Drift. The Link ECU top 8, Ryan Turk and Hughes doing battle. Ryan Turk makes his way back to the pits. And here is a look at the bracket, how it shapes up, and how we've gotten here. You can see Taguchi and Forsberg in the grade 8. Frederick, Osbo still waiting. Who's he going against? Burket or Robbins? Man, both these guys making mistakes. Osbo, he's salivating, man. He's ready. He's got his Supra. He took down Vaughn Gittin Jr. He wants to do it. Here we are, second one more time. The third battle between these guys. Both of them making just, I don't know, just flagrant mistakes. I mean, I'm just going to call it like I see them. You know, independent, awkward, weird mistakes.
Well, obviously, I think lessons certainly must have been learned from the second time around.
Yep.
And now these guys have had a real chance to battle each other, so they're going to know what's going on. Here we go.
Yeah, now Dan Burket throws it down, and there's Alec Robbins. Maybe not as aggressive as previous runs, and maybe taking a note and saying, hey, calm down, chill, relax. As Lorette was talking with him, saying, already calculating going into tomorrow's event. And there's Burket. There we go. So a full pull, no contact between them. As Burket rounds it out and Robbins in the chase position, shadowing him.
So a much tamer run this time around from both drivers, but nonetheless a good bit of drifting here as Dan Burket takes the lead. Pretty solid job on that first outside zone. Tighter line there for Alec Robbins, with a good transition back around, so he tries to stay in the pocket on that inside clip. Dan dropping one, almost 2 tires on outside zone 3. Here comes Robbins surging forward, and both drivers come unscathed, or come through unscathed in that final outside zone. Here's Burket on the third, and you can see Robbins just about a car length back Much better job this time around. A great bit of timing there on the transition to that final section and outside zone number 4. So 1 down, 1 to go. Let's see if we can get a victor here in the top 16. Who's going to move on into the Great 8
and go against Osbo?
Yeah.
You know, here they go as Robbins will lead. Burket giving chase. Ken Robbins, the only standing rookie of 2020 in that Facetto 350Z from Minnesota, going against Burket, the gear wrench, Rad Industries Toyota Supra. Clean start, no cones hit. Haven't seen a strike just yet. Oh, Burket getting aggressive, not leaving it in the judges' hands. Wide swing from Robbins. That was way too wide. We'll see what the judges think. Burket did a really good job of staying in it, and oh man, Burket comes in hard, holds on to that angle. Weird flex, but okay.
We had 2 scary moments there,
Yeah,
didn't we?
dude, these guys just puckering up, Buttercup. Woo!
Well, let's take a look at this again here. An aggressive start in the chase right there by Dan Burket. You gotta love that, trying to make that needle in the mind of the judges move in his direction, and very, very wide as the lead driver by Alec Robbins. And then on this last section here, Burket almost gives it up again. This time he's able to keep angle in the car. I think that part right there was so impressive by Burket. There's a mistake in the lead by Robbins. A little bit less angle there by Burket. And I still think this is going to be a tough one for the judges because it's more about a matter of looking at the mistakes. Oh, but Burket may have gone 3 wheels off there, Jared, or that front right may have just been right on the line. He started off so strong in his chase run on that first outside zone. It was beautiful the way that he got right in the pocket, but now the judges have got to lay down the gauntlet here to find out who's moving on to face Frederick Osbo in the Grade 8.
Okay, here's the BC Racing side-by-side instant replay. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift, go for gold.
Man, Jared, these guys, you know, in terms of the errors made on the first 2 runs, now that we get a clean one, you can see still some mistakes being made, but the judges are really gonna have to split hairs here and see if there's a real, see that last section there, still causing some problems for drivers. So here we go, Jared. Who do you got? You got any idea on your side?
I think Dan Burket, just Alec Robbins. You know, I like where he's at. I like what he's doing. I like his aggressive nature. Eager, like his excitement. But I think just, unfortunately, these guys are missing body parts here and there. Burket, I liked his X factor, as well as I didn't like Alec Robbins' line going into that inside clip. So here we go. Still waiting. Judge is still deliberating. If they go one more time, I don't know, man. No, there's. Here we go. Going to the judges. Chris Yule, Ryan Lontaine, Brian Eggert. Verdict's in. Slide him left for Robbins or right for Burket. Chris Yule says Dan Burket. Ryan Lontaine says Alec Robbins, and Brian Eggert says Dan Burket gets the win, 2-1. The Canadian judge, maybe he's a little closer to Minnesota there, as yeah. So Dan Burket. All joking aside,
can we hear from Brian? I want to know.
Yeah, definitely. Brian Eggert after 2 one more times, 3 battles altogether, minus some body parts. Burket gets the win.
Yeah. For me, they had good leads. I think I gave it a little bit more to Burket on that one. His lead just seemed to be all in the right places. Robbins did have the mistake around out of zone 4 towards the end here, but I think for when it came down to chase, Burket had way more proximity in the first half of the course, and what happened was he ended up losing it when Robbins went wide on interclip 1. So I kind of put that gap in proximity for the second half of the course on Robbins for that.
Right on, thank you very much. Brian Eggert giving us some insight. Again, majority rules, 2-1. We're advancing on to a battle we haven't seen yet. Not a one more time, just a straight up battle. GTP, I like that. So he's Gustin Pollock. JTP, Justin Pollock going against Taylor Hull. You can see that Taylor Hull with that comp cams, Cadillac ATSVs on Achilles tire, and of course the signature teal and blue scallops. That means Falcon Tires in the building with that Falcon Tires Roush Performance Ford Mustang. And leaving the start line, All-American battle here. Pollock and Hull. JTP, Ryan, you said you were expecting big things from him. Let's see what Justin's got into that second outer zone, and Taylor Hull, full pull Hull in the chase. Justin Pollock goes all the outside zone. Now Justin into the final outer zone. Taylor Hull takes that tighter line, doesn't get all the way out there. Still a great run for both the guys. Ryan, did JTP live up to your expectations?
Well, you got to think about how much time he spent on the sidelines, you know, not really having an opportunity to do battle out there. And it's 5:43 local time. So the conditions are not like the practice this morning. Here he gets a good start though. Taylor Hull has been looking very impressive in the battle that we've seen so far, keeping it tight to Justin through that inside clip. Justin very smooth and right at the edge of the course there. Great job. Fluid transition back around right at the edge of that outside zone, and unfortunately for Hull was not able to get all the way out there with Justin and match that line. And as he whips through that inside clip, you can see both drivers looking pretty similar there in terms of angle. But on this last section, a point of difference here for Justin Pollock. Big angle, but in the right spot on that outside zone, just right at the edge there. So switching things up now, Taylor Hull going to the lead. Justin Pollock chasing him down.
I really like the Intimidator Classic. It's the Mr. Goodwrench homage graphic here that we're seeing on Taylor Hull's vehicle. He'll be out front. Originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan, Justin Pollock in the Ford Mustang. Here we go. Lights extinguished, it's go time. Taylor Hull initiates, Justin Pollock. A little bit deeper angle there from JTP. Coming to that second outer zone, Taylor Hull, let's see if he can bring it back. Just barely kisses it, knocks it over. Look at Taylor pulling away from JTP into that final outer zone. Justin mimicking the angle as he rocked their way up the bank. Taylor Hull stays in it.
Justin was making some adjustments there right before outside zone 2, Jared, on the transition. You could hear the car, you could hear the visceral sound of the vehicle as both drivers were really giving it 100% here, trying to find a way into the final 4, or into the grade 8 rather. Here is Hull, nice initiation there, big angle by Pollock in the chase position, keeping the proximity tight, and right there you can see he had a big snap back around that could have been trouble for him, but did a good job. Hull hits that inside clip, drops a tire right there, and Pollock now coming through the smoke line, dives in on the inside. Hull is just, it looks like he's just coming up to the finish line there. Let's see where he lands on the outside zone. Nice snap back around there by Hull. Takes that sweeping turn into the inside clip. Little tire drop there, Justin on a slightly tighter line. And just a little bit on the inside for the first part of that outside zone, but was able to fill it towards the latter part for Taylor Hull. So was there enough there? Did the judges have enough for a victor here against Justin Pollock and Taylor Hull?
Second to last battle here. If we have the verdict, only one more battle left. That is All Falcon, Dai Yoshihara, Odi Bakshi's. Both these guys, they kept it clean. I like that. You know, it was straight up. Even if you got into a tussle, you get the win. You still have to continue on going into that Link ECU top 8. Taylor Hull would love to see this. You saw how emotional he got winning the top 16. JTP, he's a firecracker as well. I know he wants this, as does everybody. The scores are in. The results slide them left for JTP, right for Taylor Hull. Justin Pollock gets 1 vote. Taylor Hull, there it is, JTP. Justin Pollock gets the victory. JTP, hats off, cowboy hat tip to Taylor Hull.
Yeah.
The bandit. I love, like I said, I love him just being openly emotional about him, just trying to get through this. Like, you know, I really do appreciate that. So hats off to him and his wife and his family. But JTP continues on into the Link ECU top 8. Link ECU, the official engine management unit of Formula Drift. That's how it is. That's how it shapes up. Who will Pollock go against? one of his Falcon Tire teammates. Will it be Dai Yoshihara or Odi Bakshis? Now remember, Odi Bakshis, we didn't see him in the top 16 driver intro because he's putting a new rack in his car. So is his car 100, as the kids say? We'll find out in the Royal Purple top 16. Dai Yoshihara, Odi Bakshis, former champ Dai Yoshihara, Odi Bakshis. You know, Dai and JTP, when Dai won his championship, it was JTP's and he crashed. So you know what, it's crazy just how everything transpires. But all teal and blue all over the track right now as Dai in the turn 14 distribution, Falcon Tires Ineos Oil Subaru BRZ, and Odi Bakshis in his Falcon Tires S15. Clean start. These guys have seen a lot of track time together. Testing, tuning, ripping, shredding. Odi Bakshis quickly gets the side of the BRZ, transitioning at the same time. Good sweep. Sweep the leg, Johnny, as Dai Yoshihara dips that back left toe in the dirt and fills all of that outside zone. Clean, straightforward battle there, Ryan.
Well, seems pretty clear that Odi got that car up and running after the collision that he had earlier into today's event. But let's take a look at the replay here against Daijiro Yoshihara, who gets that lead run. Both drivers get a nice start. Dai with some great angle into outside zone 1. Odi following him, doing an excellent job in outside zone 2 and that inside clip. Pretty clean from both drivers here. Dai almost a tire drop. He spits up a little bit there. Good snap back around, but he goes way wide in that outside zone initially, and then he brings it back. Remember, those striped areas indicate where the outside zone ends, and even with the kind of fading that we've had in competition, you can still see that he went a bit wide there. Odi was on a little bit of a tighter line, and probably on the correct line overall, but obviously he needs to follow Dai like a moving clipping point. So switching things up here, Jared. Daijiro Yoshihara now going to the chase, and Odi Bakshis will lead.
Yes, sir. Odi Bakshis out front. Dai Yoshihara in the chase. Like I said, Odi, his spotter, his wife back up in the spotter's tower in his head. I think the quote is, "Babe, you got this." That's what she always says to him, and I don't think J Brad adopted that, as J Brad's at home. What's up? Shout out, homeboy. As Dai Yoshihara, this is a win-lose scenario here for Falcon Tire, but I guess one of the Falcon Tires drivers advancing on to go against another Falcon Tire driver, JTP. The final driver to join the Great 8. We're about to find out. Oh man, Dai Yoshihara bringing some of that Pikes Peak nerves of steel here to St. Louis. All the way out to that outside zone 3. Let's see how they handle that final outside zone. We got contact, my friend. Houston, St. Louis, we got a problem. As, like I said, Dai Yoshihara coming in hot. The nerves of steel might have cracked there a little bit. Let's see, did Odi check up? Or did he continue through the course? Let's find out.
That first pass here, this bit of contact or very close to a collision because Dai did stop. Seemed to happen earlier in outside zone 4, and it did look like he was picking up a lot of momentum coming out of outside zone 3. So let's take a look at that, because obviously it's going to be a massive variable in deciding the victor here. Great start by both guys. Look at that door-to-door action through inside clip number 1. Odi coming into the final section. Dai transitioning. Odi looks like he's Odi was just about getting him back on throttle there.
Yep.
And that's when Dai hit him. So, you know, the judges obviously have seen a lot of action in that section of the course. Been talking about it all day. Last year it was an inside clip. Now it's an outside zone. It hasn't really changed the outcome overall. I think it's a cleaner, more natural line. But even so, like, getting the speed right from outside zone 3 into outside zone 4 has been incredibly challenging. And obviously it's very tempting to go faster because you want to get right up in the pocket and be with that driver through the finish line.
Yeah, you don't want to be left in the dust, but you have to seize the opportunity, but also just take into consideration they're human as well in front of you.
Yeah.
Waiting for the judge's verdict. One final driver. Here's another look, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to look at where the point of impact happened. How was Odi? Was he getting back on throttle in the right place? He's slowing up here, transitioning. Now he's starting to get back on throttle. Here comes Dai. It's another one of those needle threaders. from that last little bit, it looked like Odie was starting to get back on the throttle. And remember, Brian said by that first yellow cone or kind of greenish cone coming off the wall, and that was pretty close to that area. So let's see what the judges think here, Jared.
All right, scores are in. Slide him left for Dio Shihara or right for Odie Bakshis. Chris Yule says Odie Bakshis. And there it is. Odie gets the win. He is going to that Link ECU Grade 8. It is unanimous. Unfortunately, Dio Shihara is knocked out. But Odie Bakshis will see Grade 8 action. And our Grade 8 is set. Ryan is taking a look at it overall. There is our bracket. Kazuya Taguchi versus Chris Forsberg. We have Dan Burket after 2-1 more times with Alec Robbins. He'll be going against Frederick, Osbo, and that brand new Rockstar energy drink, Toyota Racing, Toyota Supra. Then you got Dylan Hughes, a brand new car as well. A new car for Ryan Turk, JTP, Old Faithful. New setup, new kind of things that he's done to it, as well as Odie Bakshis. Ryan, what do you say about this Link ECU Grade 8?
Burket and Osbo, right? You talked about that earlier. So old versus new. Remember?
Old versus new, that's right. Yeah, old versus new. That's going to be awesome. Great point. All right, Laurent Nickel caught up with one of our drivers down in the pits.
Redden finally takes the win, but he tells me that he's frustrated. So what does that mean?
Well, I'm a little frustrated with myself, and then if you guys got a chance to check out the car, it's like, oh man, like the beginning of the season, just blast the whole back of the car off at the beginning. Well, we know it's gonna happen at some point, I guess. It's drifting. So I made it to top 8, Grade 8. I've never made it this far. This is really cool. My team just kicked butt today, and like they anything that I threw at them because I was being a wild person out there, or Robbins was doing the same to me, and like, I don't know, that was some wild stuff. I need to like clean it up. And who do I go against next?
I gotta look.
It might be Frederick or Vaughn, maybe. One of the two. Frederick? Okay, super party, but I only have half a super to bring to the show, I guess. Man, I'm excited though.
I'm excited for you. Rad Dan going full Maverick. Best of luck. Guys, back to you.
Going full Maverick, better than Goose, right? Pre-register online to receive a free custom Toyota Racing t-shirt Dan Burket was talking about. So there we are, old versus new Toyota Supra, half a Supra, full Supra, regardless, Supra party, as we could see. Again, pre-register and win a t-shirt. Man, are we going right into it? We're going right into this? Holy cow, let's keep the party going and rolling, steam rolling in. Kazuya Taguchi versus Chris, the Force Forsberg. And here we go, Jason Dienda, I know you're watching back, you and Tony, let's keep the party going. Pop the top till we don't stop, till we find out who is on top of that podium. Now we are in the, all right, the Type S, top 4. No, we're in the Grade 8, excuse me, the Link ECU top 8. As the Link ECU top 8. Link ECU, the official engine management unit of Formula Drift. Kazuya Taguchi out front, Chris Forsberg in the chase position. Kazuya Taguchi up garage, GT Radial S15 initiates. Chris Forsberg, oh look at that, getting in the dirt quickly as Taguchi approaches that second outside zone. Chris Forsberg, NOS Engineering 370Z, center punch of the inside clip. Interesting line here from Taguchi, transitions into that fourth and outside zone. Taguchi fills all of it. Chris Forsberg pedals back just a little bit, gains composure, Ryan.
Some nice sparks coming off Chris's car towards the end there on that really harsh transition up onto the big oval. And you saw just about how difficult it is as a chase driver when the lead driver is driving as well as Taguchi is and really smoking it out on this approach to the second outside zone. There Chris is transitioning. He goes up on the rumble strips, puts him on a bit of a tighter line, and he gets really on the inside of that inside clip. Taguchi flying through outside zone 3. Here comes Forsberg closing him down. He tempers his response, stays on the throttle, keeps it close. We got ourselves a nice battle here, ladies and gentlemen. Taguchi with a bit of a mistake there on that first outside zone, dropping a wheel, but quickly gets back on it. Makes good work of that inside clip. Forsberg is on a bit of a tighter line. He may have been trying to set it up so he can get in the pocket here, but Taguchi does a great job on this outside zone, able to get right there towards the end and really fill that well without going off course. And you know, we've seen so much action there. It's surprising to see that as we get closer towards the finals, how drivers will adapt and what mistakes they will or will not make in that section of the course.
You took the words out of my mouth. I really liked how Chris Forsberg, everybody thinks that Chris Forsberg gets the win every time I'm up here, but it's not the case. But when he drives like that, especially in that chase position, that is the deciding factor to have that control. He really did. He did surge. He was with Taguchi going to that outside zone 4, and he kept it consistent. It wasn't an attack and back off. I thought that was just a good, fluid, controlled approach in the chase position more so than even the lead.
Yeah, you got to definitely temper that response in the chase to make sure you don't slam into that guy in front of you. But there's a responsibility from the lead to make sure that he is driving a chaseable lead, and we know that that can go sideways in that final section there. So pretty clean run from both drivers there. Great job. Now we're going to switch things up. Chris Forsberg taking the lead against Kazuya Taguchi.
Chris Forsberg out front, Taguchi in the chase position, initiating. Whoa, Taguchi getting right next to him, tucking into formation. Chris Forsberg, massive angle there. Taguchi has to back off. He center punches that front clip. Love that initial initiation. He's taken the cone home as a souvenir into that outside zone. Chris Forsberg brings it all the way home. Ryan, you pointed at the screen. What did you see that I missed?
There was a straightening or a big unwinding of angle from Taguchi. I mean, I have to say the first part of that outside zone from him in the chase was just beautifully executed, absolutely aggressive, getting right up into Chris, in his door, right there, side by side, matching the line and angle. But watch this, he's gonna transition through the smoke line on a tighter line, and it's gonna really hurt him, and it seems to follow pretty much all the way through, because now he's losing ground to Chris. And now watch as we get into this final section, he's gonna unwind angle here to make sure that he doesn't go off course. And we'll see it from this next angle. Man. That was beautiful.
But then
the transition, he misses outside zone 2 completely. And then it puts him on this tighter line. You can see he starts falling back. He's taking the cone with him. And then right here on this last transition, he's gonna be a bit on the inside, and he's gonna have to really unwind the angle there to try and stay on course.
Great battle between the two. Kazuya with those 2 mistakes. I liked how he started it, but like I said, the big shining moment for me was Chris Forsberg's chase run on that first run between Taguchi and Forsberg, obviously. So we'll wait to see the verdict. Have to assume that Forsberg will advance on. Kazuya Taguchi, slide him left, slide him right for the force. Chris Forsberg. Chris Yule says Forsberg. So does Lontaine, and there it is. Chris Forsberg gets the win and advances on to the Type S Top 4, the official lighting of Formula Drift. All right, so as we are currently in the Link ECU Top 8, Forsberg advances on. Also, Ryan, I don't know if we said it earlier in our live stream, but we are having a consolation 3rd place battle. So previous years, we have had just that is dictated by the higher qualifying driver. Because qualifying is gone, we have a 3rd place battle. So more battles, more times, more smiles, more miles, more clutch kicking when we come back to continue on here in the Link ECU Top 8, round 1 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Next up, Burket and Osbo, an all super party, baby. Like a mullet on Frederick Osbo. I don't think Hunter would approve, his fiance. Here we go, Frederick Osbo out front, that Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota Racing Toyota Supra. Like Dan said, he's got half a Supra, but it's still a Supra nonetheless. Coming to that second outer zone, here comes Osbo. Dan Burket right there, he has nothing to lose because he's almost practically lost it all going against Alec Robbins 2 more times. But Osbo keeps it clean. Oh, baby, coming to that final outside zone. I bet you Dan Burket feels like he has an opportunity, or excuse me, a responsibility to keep it off the doors as well.
Well, you called it, Jared. It is a battle of many generations here. Old and new. Osbo takes the lead. He will set the pace. Burket, beautiful shot from overhead. Really gives you the perspective of where each driver is. Good transition there by Osbo. Burket diving in, just tapping that inside clip. Great job by the drone pilot here. This is an amazing perspective to see the ebb and flow of the run between both drivers, and especially those smoke plots where the drivers are on and off throttle and really picking up that smoke that can be such a hazard for the chase driver. In this case, Burket was pretty much able to avoid it. Had a little bit of a struggle here towards the end, finding that right line and the angle to finish up the run. But now he's got another chance here. Osbo will go to the chase position, and Dan Burket will take the lead.
All right, Dan Burket bringing it on around. He has seen a lot of battles already. And the Toyota Supra of Frederick Osbo looks like he just pulled that thing off the showroom floor, man. Looking good. Who's going against Forsberg in the Final Four? Will we see him go one more time? The Gear Wrench Rad Industries Toyota Supra of Dan Burket will lead. And Freddie Osbo, the Norwegian Hammer, dropping it. Rad Dan versus Osbo. Comes out, shots fired, across the nose, into that first outside zone. See how they handle this second. Dan Burket, a little deeper angle there from Burket. Both of them just glancing that inside clip. Dan Burket dropping some tire into the dirt. Here we go into that final outside zone. Dan Burket throwing a lot of angle at it, and there it is. He spins back the other direction. That's an opposite drift. Looks like Frederick Osbo getting a little hairball after that finish line. Ryan, look at that. The Supra taillights actually just strapped there to that bash bar. Ryan, all signs are saying Osbo after that mistake.
Yeah, looking Optimus Prime there in the.
Oh, wow.
Well, let's take a look at this run here from the perspective that we saw on this line cut. Osbo was keeping a bit of a tempered response here, and Burket really overextends. Osbo sees that he's spinning. He adjusts the vehicle and drives right by to avoid any kind of collision there. So Burket not able to hold the angle through consistently in that final turn. And I think we're going to see a quick result here.
Yeah, even before they pull up to Sopa on Europa, slide him left for Burket. Look at that. Even Chris Yule says it. There it is. So Frederick Osbo in that brand new Toyota Supra, taking it to the Type S Final Four. Type S Touring Products, the official lighting of Formula Drift. Continue the action here in the Link ECU Top Grade 8. Halfway through. Now we go to the other side of the bracket. Dylan Hughes and Ryan Turk. See the Motegi Racing wheels there wrapped in Nitto tire. There is the bracket. So halfway through the Grade 8. And oh, get this, Lorette Nickel. I was hoping to get this interview. Lorette Nickel caught up with the Mr. Turn It to 11, Chelsea Denofa, and I think he did just that.
Chelsea Denofa goes all out every opportunity he gets. And this shifter is in my hand because in his chase run, you broke this.
Yeah, I don't know if it actually happened on the run-up because I don't have to really shift after I go into turn one. But going into the last turn, I went to shift and my hand just aired. And I was like, oh man, so I just went lower thinking I maybe missed the shifter. And then I missed it again. So then I grabbed a hold of like the actual shifting mechanism and got it in gear. And we, it wasn't awful. We lost a car length and a half or so going into the last turn. Stayed in drift, didn't zero or anything. Team got another shifter on it really quickly for the next round. But yeah, I mean, sometimes like silly things like that happen.
And what is it about this track that was giving you such a hard time?
Well, I think our cars are just kind of too gnarly. They've like FD as a whole has kind of outgrown this size of a track and style. It's a lot of accelerate as fast as you can and then slow down as fast as you can and then accelerate as fast as you can and then slow down as fast as you can. And all of our cars are very different. So each car does something very different in each section of the track. And it just overall is just a tough track to drive on. I think the Pro 2 guys have a better chance on a little smaller tire and maybe a little less of a car that's trying to kill you all the time.
Chelsea, thanks.
No problem.
Jared, Ryan.
Man, that was like a nice backhanded compliment, aggression, good. But hey, you know what? They're completely entitled to their opinion.
I think he's right, though. I mean, he described how this track is. It's go really fast, slow down, go really fast, slow down, and that's what makes it so challenging. As we move on to our next battle here, a good one between Ryan Turk and Dylan Hughes. And I'm not sure the history between these guys. Don't know how many times they've done battle, but obviously
I don't think ever. I'm trying to recall. Well, somebody will message me or DM me. Slide in the DMs. So if these guys gone against each other, we'll find out. Here we go. Regardless, they going together now. Brand new cars for both of them. Ryan Turk out of the way of that gum out. Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback. Now coming to that second outer zone. Dylan Hughes trying to mirror that angle. Looks like he gave himself a little bit of distance here. Both of them clean around that front clip. Ryan Turk into that outside zone. Dylan Hughes coming in shallow. Good, straightforward, clean. I think these guys have a lot of respect for each other as they are homies in the Blackout Garage. Shot a lot of video content here in the off season and hanging out. They're great friends off the track. So I think there's kind of a respect there, a boundary.
Big angle there on that first exit to the outside zone 1 for Ryan Turk. Hughes coming up. You can see a little bit of a punctuation there. You can really catch it from the drone from Ryan Turk as he tried to get back on inside clip 1. He's able to get on the right line there, but as you mentioned, Jared, a bit of shallow angle there from Dylan Hughes in the chase position. Here's that part. You can see Turk goes real wide, kind of late apex is that inside clip. Hughes makes an adjustment. He's on a tighter line now, and then as he comes through this section of the course, Turk is really able to get out to that outside zone, but a little bit less angle there from Hughes. It is great to see Dylan driving a vehicle that he's really comfortable with and he feels like he can perform in, and obviously his job that he did today, getting him all the way to the grade 8, is amazing. Now the question is, can he get past Ryan Turk here, as he will now take the lead?
Ryan, as I reported and as I predicted, sliding in the DMs, they say Hughes and Turk went against each other in Seattle last year, and Dylan Hughes actually beat Ryan Turk. So here we go. They're back at it again. Dylan Hughes out front, a brand new car, and Ryan Turk gets up to the side of Hughes. Ryan Turk backs off. Wow, look at the composure. Remember how I was giving Chris Forsberg accolades, and it looks like Ryan Turk's doing just that as well. Really massaging the car, but Ryan Turk, oh man, oh shit. Woo!
Turk having a tough time towards the end there, and that did get interesting.
That got hairy.
Bit of a back and forth here between Dylan Hughes and Ryan Turk. Turk very aggressive on initiation in the chase position. Let's take a look at it again here. Right into the pocket and on the back bumper of Dylan Hughes is Ryan Turk. It does seem to get him a little bit out of whack where he has to make an adjustment. You can see the smoke coming off the front wheels as he was braking there. Hughes reaches out to that outside zone. Turk having to make an adjustment there not to make contact with him, and that does have an impact on the way that Turk finishes that run. This will be very telling here from the overhead. You can see Turk surging, has to back off. Hughes really slows down, goes wide on outside zone 2. Turk makes an adjustment again, and then Turk on that inside line peels back through the smoke line, and this is where he kind of has that unwinding of the angle to try and get back on the line that that Dylan Hughes had set going into outside zone number 4.
All right, so let's find out which way the judges lean. Our 3 judges. Ryan, judges want another look here.
I'm not surprised. Usually you get an initial intuition about who the driver is going to be taking the battle, but this one, especially from the drone overhead, really exposed a few things, some mistakes that you don't necessarily see as you're trying to look through the smoke line, and that's super helpful. But obviously both drivers struggling a little bit to kind of find the composure here on run number 1. Turk really surged.
Is Ryan too aggressive here?
Well, I think Hughes had his brakes on. I thought I saw the brake lights in outside zone 1, and that may have been why we saw that surging there. And remember, that is an on throttle area. So it may have been a reflection, but I'm almost positive I saw Hughes kind of on the brakes a little bit on outside zone 1, right as Ryan Turk was surging. Now, whether or not he was left foot braking or not, I can't tell you that. It's really going to be about, is the momentum continuing forward. I don't think he should be on the brakes there, though, however.
Yeah, and oh, here we go. The BC Racing side-by-side instant replay. BC Racing is sponsoring the side-by-side, the official suspension of Formula Drift. BC Racing, go for gold. So you can see Ryan Turk out front on the left, Dylan Hughes in front on the right. Dylan definitely had a wider sweep on that inside clip. Both of them, you can see, looks like both of them had a good line. Dylan had a great chase there.
I hate these ones if I were a judge, because it's really about picking out what mistakes caused what, right? Because
start with 100 points and start chipping it away.
Yeah,
what are you left with?
And you're trying to think in your mind, okay, that was a mistake there, and then there was an immediate mistake by the other driver after. So, is that a kind of a cause and effect relationship? Here it is one more time. You can see you see Dylan's, yeah, his brake lights were on there. So I don't think that should be happening, and it may have caused a little bit of a freak out for Turk. At the same time, Turk really didn't make the greatest adjustments in these areas, and he may be saying, well, it's because Dylan is doing this and doing that, but you can see he's on a much tighter line here.
And Dylan wasn't deep either in his chase run.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes one more time.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised. Just give, you know, you can only tell the future by looking at the past, and just given what the judges just give that finality. These are really tough calls. The investment, the time, all, you know, just buffering constantly. I say that metaphorically, everybody buffering to see competition, and here they go. And this isn't a video game, this is real life. And also, they are doing it again tomorrow. So tune in, make sure you join us tomorrow, and we'll have that scheduled later on for you. Oh, looks like we got the verdict which way. One more time from Chris Yule, Ryan Lontaine, and Brian Eggert say. Dylan Hughes from Ryan Lontaine, and Brian Eggert says. One more time, and there you go. Look at that. I looked into the crystal ball, making claims, and ended up going the way that I chose. Eggert, down to you. Brian, you and Chris Yule said one more time between these two.
Yeah, both drivers had really similar leads. They were both great and put the car exactly where we asked them to do it. It came down to basically the chases. Both drivers had multiple mistakes in their chase positions. Turk was a little bit sloppy in his, and Dylan had a kind of a shallow run through outer zone 3 and 4, and then his angle was definitely lesser than Turk's through outer zone 3.
All right, thank you very much there from Brian Eggert. So we'll revisit that battle. Next up, JTP and Odi Bakshi. So we talked about the teal and blue, and that continues on this right side corner of the bracket in the Link Engine Management top 8. So JTP, Odi Bakshi, you can see fairly equally matched. These guys have driven against each other before, a lot of history, and again, teal and blue, it's all Falcon Tire. So one Falcon Tire driver will be going to the Final Four already in. We got Nex and Nitto, and then Hughes and Turk. We got either Nitto and Achilles with those gentlemen, and then obviously Falcon Tire with these guys. JTP, Falcon Tire, Roush Performance, Lucas Oil, Ford Mustang, Odi Bakshi, Falcon Tire, Field Suspension, as he is at the helm. That's his own company, Field Suspension. Here we go. Justin Pollock initiates right there at that one cone. Odi Bakshi brings it around. Oh, and something shoots off the back there. Oh, wow, bumper, sorry. And these guys exploding some body parts off. Odi Bakshi really aggressive. And Justin Pollock brings it in an outside zone. Odi Bakshi right there, Ryan. Really well executed by Odi Bakshi in the chase position.
He has definitely become a chase driver master, there's no question about it, and it's putting the car in the right place at the right time, making it look good, maximizing or mimicking the angle and line of the lead driver, and that can only happen with a solid lead run. JTP gave him something to work with there, and you can see the pacing down the front straight. I mean, there's no games here. These guys are driving their hearts out. It's a great start by JTP in outside zone 1, but Odi is, the mimicking level is just incredible here. You can see just tapping that with his right, or his right front, so he wasn't center punching it, just getting that clip a little bit. And JTP fits right up into that outside zone, but Odi follows him beautifully. Look at this transition right here that puts him right in the pocket. He is door to door. That was incredible. And there you can see it did hit the front, so it was a little bit tight on that line, but I think I would sacrifice that because of the proximity. So he'll get a little bit of a deduction there in the judge's mind, but look at the payoff. It allowed him to stay right there with JTP pretty much 90% of the course, and that was impressive by Odi Bakshi.
Felt like Ed McMahon there. I was like, yes. All right, here we go, alternating the order. Odi Bakshi out front. Sun dipping behind the bleachers there on the west side. Odi Bakshi will lead. Justin Pollock giving chase. Firing off. Odi Bakshi, a little later initiation, just slow rolling into that outer zone. Justin Pollock way more aggressive with the flick. Around that front flip. Into that third outer zone. How are they going to manage that final outer zone? JTP over-rotates, stands on the throttle. Ryan, let's check this out again. D-cell zone going in. Where was Odi Bakshi on throttle? Let's take a look.
Well, another incident in the final turn. Here we go. Odie and Justin Pollock. Justin beautifully done in the chase position. Similar transition, getting right up door to Odie. Bakchi's keeping the pressure on. Odie, he starts to pull away here. Is he trying to go for that advantage? He slows down, but the wheels are spinning there. It does look like Justin was just coming up a little bit too hot there. Now let's take a look at it again. This is out of the first outside zone. Justin getting through the smoke line, diving in on the inside here. Similarly, he was on that tight line, but really getting the proximity because of that. And there we see that our first little bit of separation that's relatively different than the approach that Odie had. Justin surges forward. As soon as he gets on the brakes, you can see the back end starts turning out on the car. It looks like it was inducing a spin. He may have just surged a little bit too hard there. And right there, you get a great viewpoint of what Justin was dealing with as Odie was making his way through that final outside zone.
Waiting for the verdicts, Ryan. I believe we're going to get it fairly quickly there. And as we switch on over, Odie Bakshis gets the win. 3 drivers in the final 4, Forsberg, Osbo, and Odie. So one side, we got a couple champions. The other side, just a few that have always threatened. So Dylan Hughes, again, on his, what is he, on his junior year in Formula Drift. And then Ryan Turk, he's been around since 05, I believe it is. So we're going to go back to those 2 gentlemen, Ryan Turk, Dylan Hughes, for that one more time battle. Should be seeing them pull up. I can see him off in the distance pulling up to the burnout box. There goes Turk heading over. He's going to warm up his Nitto tires. Here is the bracket so far here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Round 1. Remember, tomorrow we have round 2. Very same.
Take that needle and move it over into their camp in a much stronger way. I think there was some mistakes that caused other mistakes, and that's what the judges are weighing, and not really like a, yeah, that guy really laid it down, and the other guy wasn't able to keep up with them or, you know, have as good of a lead run. I think that's what we need to see here to move on into the final 4.
Just more of a standout moment. Keep it clean, keep it tidy. Don't have these peaks and valleys. Just really, let's keep it even line. All right, thank you so much. All right, let's move on. Here we go. The one more time battle between Hughes and Turk. Turk will lead. Hughes will give chase. See, already out of the gate. Let's see if Dylan can throw it to the side of Turk. Seems that he is rolling in slow there with the aggressiveness. Oh, and there's a straightening there from Hughes in the chase position. Wonder what happened there. Now entering into, oh man. Looks like ripping some sticker off the wall there. Yeah, that was a big hit there. And you gotta think, you can see that Corolla hatchback. That's not a big bumper hanging off, and how close that is to those Nitto tires and rotiform wheels.
Well, Turk gave a little favor back to Hughes on that wall tap there, but as you mentioned, Jared, there were some mistakes from Hughes that were noticeable that would have given Ryan Turk a good edge going into the second half of this battle. So let's take a look at this one more time and see what happened on the first half and then the second half. From above here, you can see Turk leading. Hughes gets that early jump out of the gate. He's going to throw a nice initiation. Hughes is on a little bit of a tighter line. He transitions and he comes on a much tighter line there. You can see very noticeable. Then he hits that inside clip, and then a big straighten there by Hughes, who has to not totally reinitiate, but definitely it had an impact. And then Turk right there taps the wall. It adjusts the line a little bit. So 2 mistakes from Hughes and 1 from Turk. A good recovery from Turk overall. Could have been much worse than that. And we are inspecting the vehicles. It looks like they're having a little chat down there on the start line.
Yeah, taking a look at Ryan's back right wheel. It looks like, I mean, we have those sticky back, the signs on the wall, and it seems that the Type S sign got a little bit of it, and Turk took it home as a souvenir. You can see the big dent there on Dylan Hughes' passenger side. That was courtesy of Matt Fields' Corvette, that back left corner going into it. Taking a look at the replay here, Ryan. See Ryan Turk initiate. Dylan Hughes, like I said, kicking back a little bit. Want to see Ryan Turk where he hit exactly.
Yeah, I'm not seeing or hearing any damage. There's that big correction there. The Turk as he gets closer. There's the tap.
Oof, that was a big hit.
It was a big hit for sure, and it looks like it compressed the rear bumper of Turk, but it was a great save, and you could notice that in the front wheels, he kept angle in there. So it's going to be a mistake. I think the straightening out or the losing of angle of Hughes might be the bigger mistake there, but here we go. Second. Uh-oh, are we getting a
No, Ryan Turk looks like he's going to head over and get that's going to be a comp timeout, I believe, if he's leaving. Yeah, I'm overhearing the officials. Kevin Wells down there, technical director, says, "All right, man, we gotta get this fixed." And this is why we're pressed for time here, because figure we got this battle, we have our 2 Final Four battles, we'll have a 3rd place battle and our final. So do the math there. Quite a few battles here. I believe might even be throwing on some lights. So we can't advance on until we find out who wins. So the NGK competition timeout here as Ryan Turk gonna assess his rotiform wheel. Looks like he's gonna throw a new one on. Do spark plugs time out? They sure do, and timely spark plug replacement not only prevents fouling and provides the best engine performance, it ensures less repair time and can save you money on unnecessary repairs. Visit ngksparkplugs.com to learn more about OE suggested spark plug intervals and find the best plug for your engines. NGK, the ignition specialist. All right, well, Ryan Turk is down in the pits. We'll take a look at Ryan Turk's driver profile.
Funnest thing about drifting is just being able to drive with your homies, let it all hang out, know that they're not going to make any serious mistakes most of the time, and just go door to door with them and just, put the smile on your face, and that's the best part. My name's Ryan Turk. I've been drifting for 17 years, and I drive the Gumout Toyota 86. I kind of came from a motorsports background, raced dirt bikes growing up, and obviously when I turned 16, I got into cars, and rear-wheel drive was it. And I wanted to do burnouts and donuts and practice car control, and then I just found out that what I was doing was actually drifting, and I was in the right place at the right time for my skills to progress into, as the sport progressed into a professional series. Worst part about drifting is definitely crashing. It sucks. You break stuff, you bend stuff. The crew's got to work late nights. A lot of money comes out of your pocket, and it's just bad overall for everybody. What keeps me drifting is the competitive atmosphere. I've been competing for the better part of my life, and I guess it's just ingrained in me. I just like competing and trying to continue to progress on my own skills. It's crazy on track. It's so super difficult to win tandem battles. You really have to be running door to door. Least amount of mistakes wins, and then you get the guys that are just super perfect all the time, and it's hard to win tandem battles. Everybody is good. It's seriously, the field is so deep and talented. It's insane. To win a championship this year in FD, you absolutely need to win as much as possible, or all the time. It's super hard, so you have to be finishing in the semifinals. You got to be finishing on a podium. You have to be qualifying well, and you just have to be at the top of your game every single step of the way. I mean, to win it, it's been 17 years, roughly 16 years in Formula D, and to win a championship finally would be like, I'd be like, God damn, finally. Drifting is a roller coaster ride. It's one of those deals where you make one mistake and you're beat. You're out. You're done for the weekend. And that's not even because you crashed your car. That's because you made a mistake and the other guy didn't, and you get knocked out of the round. So one day you're winning, one day you're at the bottom of the barrel. So it's tough. I mean, it's a lot of mental strength, and you got to just keep that confidence close to you. You got to know and be able to just create a positive environment around yourself with people who know you well and know how to give you that positive feedback and positive mental attitude to keep you up when you're on your way down, when you're kind of down. And then when you're on your high, everything's all good, baby.
And there you can see the 5-minute clock is going, and not seeing that rim back on. Wondering if maybe it sustained more damage than we thought, Ryan. We got 2 minutes down.
I think I did see him put it back on. I think they're just taking their time on other aspects of the car, trying to make their way through this battle with Dylan Hughes. Obviously, it's a mistake, and there must have been some deeper damage there, but I think they really want to give themselves a fair shot because making it into the Final Four is a big feat for round number 1.
Yep. Cars on the ground, Turk's in the hot rod. Dylan Hughes is on the start line, so he waits. See Larry Chen's sticker there hanging out. What's up, Larry? And the clock there just out of camera shot, just out of the angle. So throwing down to Lorette. Lorette, what's up?
All right, you guys, thank you so much. Ryan Turk sitting in the car. He's talking to his spotter right now. It's okay, it's fine. These guys and I, we've been working together for 6 seasons. Ryan just waved me off because he's talking to his spotter, but I'm gonna grab Kevin Wells. Kevin, what's the reason for the competition timeout?
He actually hit the wall going into outer zone 4, so it damaged the rear wheel, so I wanted him to change that. But it sounds like the power steering was having problems, so that's what they're trying to cool down right now.
Okay, and we have 30 seconds left right now, and Ryan Turk is pulling away, guys.
Perfect timing there. And again, thank you, Lorette, for getting the news.
Power
Lorette
steering
Nickel.
problems, interesting. So
yeah,
that independent situation going on there.
Well, that might have caused him to, you know, his power steering might have caused him to have that damage and sustain that. So fortunately, he saved it. Maybe it could have been worse if you know, he threw it at the wall and didn't come back, or you're fighting that wheel. So he's going to find out real quick here if that power steering cooled off, and he's going to have it when he needs it out on course against Dylan Hughes. So keep in mind, this is the second half of this battle. As Kevin just said, he had to call a competition timeout. Dylan Hughes waits on the line. Now, Ryan Turk has that brand new back right. I wasn't noticing, I was kind of looking at something else. Did they change both back tires or just that back right?
I think they only changed or are allowed to change the back right.
They changed 2? He changed out both?
Both, okay.
Okay, they changed out both. Getting word. All right, comes down to this second half of this battle, Hughes and Turk. As, again, this is the second half of this battle. And Odi Bakshis. Odi Bakshis will go against the winner here. Dylan Hughes and Turk did see competition against each other last year in Seattle. Dylan Hughes got the victory. So can Dylan get Turk's number once again, that being 4-1-1. And Dylan will lead. Headlights are on, the sun is setting here. Still a little bit of daylight. Let's see if we can get it done before the sun completely sets. All right, back at it, Dylan Hughes. Into the outside zone 1. Ryan Turk knows he needs to throw it down. He had a decent lead run, but he really wants to shine in that chase position. Dylan Hughes puts the car in the right place. Wow, really filling that third outside zone. Now transitioning into that final outside zone. Ryan, great view overhead. You saw really where the vehicles were in that outside zone. Dylan did great out front, and Ryan Turk, man, wasn't even phased. So if he's having power steering issues, definitely not apparent there.
Yeah, let's take a look at this again here. Obviously, Turk getting to a scary moment, and it's only one competition timeout, so it's got to last. And now we see Hughes taking the lead. Nice line mimicking there by Ryan Turk. A good transition. Gets right on the rear bumper of Dylan Hughes through outside zone 3. You can see that adjustment by Turk there as he moves back around, really moving and shaking in the cockpit, making some good adjustments against Hughes. Here it is from above, that inside clip. Both drivers come through that section cleanly. And it may be that he's still fighting the power steering, because I can see inside the car he's really moving around like this, especially on that last section where he's coming towards us, Jared. And
wow,
we have a good view inside the
fighting
cockpit.
That thing. Really fighting it. I wondered what was going through your mind there, Ryan. So as Dylan Hughes and Ryan Turk wait for the verdict, who's going against Odi in the Final Four? Do we have a winner? Forsberg and Osbo, they are on one side of the Final Four. And here comes the BC Racing side-by-side replay. We did have some time in between them. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift, go for gold. Ryan, walk us through it.
Yep, judge is looking at it side by side. That means it's not an easy answer. And I in a sense, agree with them. You can see Hughes. I think that big unwinding of the angle, though, coming out of that inside clip is a big factor here. And Turk does hit the wall and it slows him down, but Hughes was not in proximity. And you can count that as a mistake for Ryan Turk. Let's go to the judges.
All right, let's hopefully we'll see. And looks like scores are in. Slide them left for the dozer, right for Ryan Turk. Looks like Chris says Ryan Turk, and Lantain. Ryan Turk gets the win in that Toyota Corolla. All right, so Ryan Turk, hey, hats off to Dylan Hughes, knocked out after a one more time battle against one of the best in the biz. And man, Dylan Hughes, looking forward to seeing him tomorrow in action among all the drivers, 29 drivers in total. There's the final four. Forsberg versus Osbo, Turk versus Bakshis. Yeah, and I am hearing from Ryan Turk's spotter. He just texted me. He did the whole chase with no power steering, which is very, very impressive. So you know what's going on right now? They're trying to fix the power steering in that Racing Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, he looked like a maniac. I'm sure other fans noticed he looked like a maniac in there when he was coming towards us, which were in the main tower, and we really got a shot inside of his cockpit. So a very, very big challenge overcome there by Ryan Turk, but great job by Dylan Hughes.
Yeah, that was great. Great job by Dylan Hughes. Looking forward to seeing him tomorrow in round 2 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. If you haven't already, go into the description box down below our YouTube link and answer the U.S. Air Force Aim High Trivia. What is the wingspan of an F-16? 33 feet, 30 feet, 38 feet, or 44 feet. Sweet F-16 flying through the air. My brother threw another one at me. What movie features and highlights the F-16? Here we are now. We are in the Type S Touring Products Final Four, the official lighting of Formula Drift. That is incorrect, Kemp. That is Iron Eagle highlights the F-16. And here we are, 2 champions, Frederick Osbo and Chris Forsberg. Couple championships, quite a few championships between these gentlemen. And here we are back at it again. Back at it again with a couple champions. Chris Forsberg will lead NOS Energy Drink. Nissan 370 Xeon Nexon tires going against the Rockstar Energy Drink. Toyota Racing Toyota Supra. A lot of energy going on. Energy on energy. Yo, dog, I heard you like energy. That's why I put energy in your energy. As Chris Forsberg throws it down, Frederick Osbo mimicking the angle. Look at that early transition by Frederick Osbo. Chris Forsberg with a wide swing, does have to correct. Frederick Osbo does the same. Man, Frederick Osbo is sweating Forsberg into that final outside zone. Osbo overshoots it, pressure being applied. Ryan, a different dynamic here with Osbo driving this Toyota Supra. Previously with that Corolla, you'd see him kind of temper it, go back and forth, and a different swing from Osbo.
He stepped up the aggression noticeably there, and we got a good look at what that car is capable of. Right out of the gate, he tucks up right alongside Chris Forsberg. Forsberg goes off outside zone 1. Osbo has to make an adjustment. Now watch, he's really going to be super tight, almost straight through that inside clip because of the aggression coming into outside zone number 2. And then kind of the same thing here, but Chris makes a little bit of a mistake there in his lead run. He comes off outside zone 4, and Osbo has to adjust as well. So Osbo right here almost supersedes Chris for a second. Then he has to make a quick adjustment there. He goes up on the rumble strips. He may have had a little tire rub there, and then Osbo hits that inside clip. Forsberg coming out of outside zone 3. Osbo's on a tighter line. Let's see what happens to Chris here first. We look at it, and then, yeah, he makes an adjustment, and then he has to unwind a little bit of angle there, so it wasn't a smooth arc through that outside zone. But I think Osbo's over-aggression may have hurt him there. He could have attacked a little bit better and made it look a lot cleaner, but I think we got a really good look at what that car is capable of, and it is a nasty beast for sure.
Yeah, I don't think Chris had the cleanest line and approach on everything. I mean, if we're going off of what we've seen previously, that wasn't the cleanest lead line. So it's going to be interesting on what Osbo puts down and how Forsberg reacts to this brand new car, because he hasn't gotten a lot of track experience with it. And a big gap there between Osbo and Forsberg. I'm wondering if Forsberg's running 100% here as brings it around that front clip. Osbo, massive, there it is.
Big
See,
straight.
Forsberg shuts it down. I think he's got an issue here. So unfortunately for Forsberg, I think he might be having an issue. Don't know if it's steering or power.
The perceived mistakes that I saw from Osbo and the over-aggression really is not going to have a payoff here, because it looks like Chris was experiencing some car issues, and it may have started from the beginning of the run. You can see he's really not smoking the tires. Something happened there where it looked like he grabbed the e-brake to try to induce drift, like he's down on power or something. And then watch this, coming out of this zone right here. He drives straight, so that's going to be an incomplete right there, and it seems to be independent of Osbo. I don't see a way back for Chris on this, because Osbo, even with his mistakes, did not have an incomplete in his run from my estimation. So this just may be car troubles haunting Chris Forsberg in a very critical part of the competition where he could quite easily go to the finals, but it may not be the day today. He may have to wait until tomorrow and find out what's going on with that vehicle. And even if he does lose here, it's still a third place battle that he has to do. Here we go.
All right, going to the judges and slide him right for Frederick Osbo. Osbo is going to the finals on the maiden voyage of that Rockstar energy drink. Toyota Racing, Toyota Supra. Forsberg will go to the consolation bracket. I would really like to know what is going on with Forsberg's car. Definitely did not look like his normal self, especially going off of that previous run. So there it is, Osbo going to the finals. Forsberg will go against the loser of Turk and Odie. Also, we're finding out Turk ran that last run with no power steering, and his team is trying to work to change out that power steering pump. We'll find out if he makes it when we return. We return Turk versus Odie. Bubblegum zip tie fix, or is it a full-on swap? Regardless, he is here to do battle in the Type S Final Four. Osbo waits in the wings to see who he's going against in the finals. Will it be Ryan Turk or Odie Bakshi's? Chris Forsberg in the third place battle. Ryan Turk leads, Odie gives chase. We'll find out real quick if Ryan Turk got that repair done in time. Going to that second outside zone. Now remember, Ryan Turk had that last battle with no power steering, but Odie, he doesn't care at all. Both of them shimmy shake their way into that third outside zone transition. And Odie, a big correction there, shallow on that outside and final zone. Ryan, we saw it in the Toyota piece. Turk said, hey, man, it'd be great to be 1 and 2. That might ring true if Ryan Turk wins here. It would be an all-Toyota finals.
Well, that was a phenomenal chase run from Odie Bakshi's until that last little part. So let's keep an eye on the lead run from Turk, because the chase run really caught my attention from Odie, and Ryan Turk out front is allowing an awesome chase run because he does have a great lead run. But see that mistake there from Turk as well, that adjustment, and then Odie makes one of his own. So both guys make some big mistakes, even though the majority of the run was awesome from both the lead and the chase. The line was awesome from Ryan Turk. The chase run was amazing from Odie Bakshi's. But then right here, you're gonna see Turk unwind for a second. See that right there? And then Odie, same thing on the transition, comes through and he unwinds and has a little shimmy there as well. Were any of those an incomplete, Jared, in your mind?
No, I truly don't think so. So as we are ready to see the second half of this battle, I think both of them had some really good execution. Really excited to see what transpires here. Remember, if Ryan Turk wins, it'll be Toyota guaranteed 1 and 2. What order we'll find out. Or is Odie going to rain on their parade? Is he going to the finals to go against Frederick Osbo? Both of them initiate into that first outside zone. Into the second outside zone. Odie Bakshi's transitions. Ryan Turk right there. Bringing it around. Out to that third outside zone. Ryan Turk losing some ground here. Oh, big angle from Odie. And it looks like he was going to check up. That got very interesting for Odie. And this seems to be a reoccurring theme here with Odie and that last outside zone. I mean, remember, if we can recall all the way back to Rome and him, as well as, who else was it? Against Dai Yoshihara, JTP. So let's take a look at it again here, Ryan.
Well, Odie out front. Turk, once again, great job in the chase on that first outside zone. Now, thinking back to the mistakes that they both made in the first run. What's going to happen here on the second? A little bit of unwinding of angle at the beginning of that outside zone for Turk, but Odie, as he comes into this last section here, really unwinds with the angle, and Turk kind of sees it. He puts the brakes on, so I think that that's going to be on Odie. Let's see it from this angle here, Jared. This is from the tower.
Yeah.
This is going to be coming towards us. And you have to imagine, Turk is keeping his eye on Odie. So he had that mistake there in the chase as well, but Odie really unwinds the angle very quickly. And then Turk right there is in angle, but then he makes an adjustment thinking that he might hit Odie.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking he's thinking there. So I have a feeling that that is going to go against Odie Bakshi's.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like an on-off switch. I love Odie's chase run. I think it was great. It was fluid, but right now, that's what I talked about earlier. Is that a chaseable lead run? You can see his front wheels stop. Okay, you're allowed to kind of slow your roll right there. That is a decel zone. Look at Ryan Turk. You can see him full lock right, like, no, and he avoids them. So, and then you see Odie turn the smoke machine back on. So, hey, shout out to Mad Mike Widet. I know he's watching from New Zealand. Shout out to him and Tony Link and Jet Widet out there at Hampton Downs as they're watching out in New Zealand. Shout out Mad Mike and Tony and the whole Widet fam. As we are waiting, who's going against Osbo in the finals? Who are you pulling for? Where are my Ryan Turk fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Odie Bakshi's fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Drifty fans at? Make some noise. Little social distance action going on here at Worldwide Technologies Raceway. Thank you for joining us out here, either online or in the building. Got some fans practicing social distancing. Obviously off track, but not on track. Ryan and I even have a little plexiglass window in between us. Thank you guys and gals. Remember, tune in, same drift time, same drift channel tomorrow for round 2 of the Formula Drift Championship. Who's going against? It's in an all-Toyota final. Well, Chris would like to see that. Ryan Lontaine, Brian Egger, it's Ryan Turk. It is a Toyota final, 1 and 2. And like I said in that piece earlier, Turk talked about it'd be great, 1 and 2. Change up order, we'll see if that works out. And it worked out here on the debut of the brand new Supra of Frederick Osbo, and now Ryan Turk behind the wheel of his Toyota Corolla hatchback. Congratulations to them. Now we are going to the 3rd place battle. Odie will get some fresh Falcon tires. He'll be going against Chris Forsberg for 3rd place, and then eventually we'll go to that all Toyota final. The Rock Stars 1 and 2 behind the wheel of their Toyota Racing Toyota vehicles. Ryan, absolutely amazing. So, Lorette, Nick, I'll throw it down to you, catching up with the Norwegian Hammer.
My goodness, going into the finals, but how do you feel about your chase run with Chris Forsberg?
Oh my goodness. I don't think the chase run on Chris was the best I've had today. He obviously seemed to have some kind of car issues out there, which is unlikely of him, and he's been the fastest guy on track, the guy to beat all weekend. But we ended up winning, and you know, if it's not necessarily exactly the way we want to take it, we'll take it. And you know, what a day for Papadakis Racing so far. Whew. It's win or lose. I love being on this part of learning. You know, I'm trying to learn a new car. We're doing massive setup changes still, and just dialing in more and more grip. I'm trying to rein in this beast, and you know, it's a blast. It takes me back to my beginnings, you know, when I had a 200 horsepower car trying to keep up with these guys. And my dream back then was to one day go against Chris Forsberg, one day go against Vaughn Gittin, and today we were. And now we're in the final.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Jared.
Man, the Norwegian Hammer, cool as a cucumber there. Again, both Nitto 1 and 2, both Toyota, both Rockstar, and here they are. Look at that, the race service on the wing. Shout out to Ryan Turk and the race service boys, Yair, Kirkham, Jacob, and Andy. I know they're out there watching in Midtown in LA. So as these fans got their LZ lids on, thank you for enduring the heat. It was a hot one today and a heat wave all throughout the country, but it's hot on track as well. As you can see, some fresh Nittos being thrown underneath that Toyota, that gum out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. He is sweaty and ready to party. Ryan Turk, don't know if his fiance Shannon is here. I know in just a little bit, he's actually getting married in just a couple of weekends actually. Be heading out to New Hampshire and officiating his wedding. So proud to be part of that scenario, but he'd love to bring home a trophy, a carbon fiber trophy celebrating his maiden voyage in that Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. Also, I'm finding out Ryan Turk did not have power steering on that last run as well. They're throwing some ice on the essentials back there. Maybe some nitrous, maybe the radiator. What do we got back there? Oh, you know what it is? It's this cool shirt. That's what it is. The water when it heats up, because they have, if you don't know, they have what's called cool shirts, where they have t-shirts underneath their suits that has plumbing, little piping, and it weaves back and forth, actually keeps the core actually cool. So that is what he is doing. That is crucial. He's about as red as his race suit right now, as Ryan Turk getting ready. Remember, you have a third place battle. You got a few moments here. They might be trying to switch out that power steering pump to make sure that he has a 100% car. Now, Papadakis Racing operates both of these vehicles, so they want to run 100%. Little bragging rights later, but guess what? The work begins just as soon as it ends, because they're going to get prepared for round 2. So who's also getting prepared? Odi Bakshis and Chris Forsberg for that third place battle. Now, Forsberg, he's been waiting in the wings for a while. Odi just got done as he went against Ryan Turk. So let's find out. Let's see where they're at. You can see the whole team. We are in the pits.
Are we going to the finals? Yeah, man. Are we going to the finals?
The elation, did that just happen? They just realized it, I guess? I don't know what's going on there, but these guys are absolutely pumped, feeling the flow. There it is, Nux all around. And there's Lorette, she's in between the two. Toyota Nitto rides. All right, and we're trying to find out where Odi's at. So throw it down to Lorette. Lorette is right there in the middle of the Papadakis Racing
There is
camp.
so much happening right now. Ryan Turk, are we okay to chat?
Yeah,
all right, I know. Ryan Turk, congratulations in the finals.
Thank you.
My goodness, talk about what it took to get here.
Absolutely insane. I didn't expect us to be here. The power steering went out, and I've just been trying to manhandle the thing through the track. And you know, we lucked out with Odi making a mistake in that last turn. That made us, you know, that moved us on to the finals with Freddie. So we'll see what we can do with the Papadakis showdown right now.
Guys, the energy is frenetic down here. It is amazing watching Frederick Osbo and teammate Ryan Turk go into battle and their excitement level. Jared, Ryan, back to you.
Thank you, Lorette. And yeah, you could just feel it. You can see the smile on the faces, waiting for Odi Bakshis. And it looks like we are seeing Odi head on into the burnout box. Have yet to see Forsberg. And we are getting word that Chris Forsberg is calling a competition timeout. And I think that is just adding to the story, and the plot thickens for him as he went against Frederick Osbo, not 100%. He had that correction. So unfortunately for him, it looks like he is calling that comp timeout. Odi waits. He is not entering the burnout box just yet. I think when he sees a glimmer of that NOS Energy Drink 370Z, he'll head into the burnout box, warm up his Falcon tires on his S15, and head to that start line. But as of right now, we are currently buffering in just a little bit. So and those are the gentlemen that are battling in the finals. We'll be back for the third place battle. Odi Bakshis, Chris Forsberg for third place, and eventually these Toyota Racing Toyota Hot Rods when we come back. All right, welcome back. We can see Odie there about to enter the burnout box, but unfortunately we are not hearing from Chris Forsberg, and he called his competition timeout. Not seeing him pull up, and I don't think he's going to make it, which would mean we'd have a bye run for Odie Bakshis, and I could see both of the Papadakis vehicles staged and ready to go.
And Jared,
the Toyota racing vehicles, what's that?
Just a little insight.
Yes.
What we're hearing is that they were rearranging some intercooler piping, and so obviously it was a pretty significant issue that was taking place. And you could see from our vantage point down into the hot pits, we can't even see Chris's car, so he's got it kind of tucked away somewhere where
yeah,
he
was right next to the driver's meeting is where he is at.
Right on the other side of that big building down there, and it does
there
not.
He is.
Does it look like he's going to make it?
We got eyes on him. The car is down, and you can hear it running. So could see Jimmy, see Diamond Fab, and the car is turned off. And it looks like Kevin Wells is down there. He's getting out. That's it. Time has expired. Such a bummer. Gutted for Forsberg. So there it is. There's the clock. It was literally 5 minutes, and yeah, coincidentally, that's trash. It's 0 sitting on the trash can as Chris Forsberg comes out unscathed. They're going to work now on the car to get it ready for tomorrow, round 2, but that means sitting just outside 4th place here at round 1 for Chris Forsberg. Odie Bakshis will get 3rd place, but could see Kevin and the FD staff members there talking to Chris Forsberg and his team, seeing what's going on here, and masking up as Odie Bakshis enters the burnout box. You can hear him off in the distance. All right, so there's the frustration. You could see that body language. We have a bye run first, and Odie Bakshis a little celebratory as he grabs that final podium spot. So Odie Bakshis, body language there from Chris Forsberg. Not as elated as he was earlier. Frustration, just shy of grabbing a carbon fiber trophy for Forsberg. There are the finalists there, but right now Odie Bakshis will be running his 3rd place celebratory bye run. Falcon Tire Field Suspension S15. And we are clear to send Odie for his bye run. Just listen in to this loud and proud supercharged LS under the hood of the S15 as those Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla and Toyota Supra wait in the wings. Turk and Osbo. Here is Odie's bye run. There's the supercharged LS S15 of Odie Bakshis. That is his 3rd place run, as Odie saw a lot of competition throughout the day. We saw Odie go against Rome. Odie went through Dai Yoshihara, JTP, lost to Ryan Turk, which now puts him in the consolation battle. And here he is getting the 3rd place podium spot at round 1 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Still a little bit of anxiety and excitement from Ryan Turk, trying to keep that thing cool. They got this thing, yeah, they're spraying nitrous, I believe, on that power steering pump, because I don't know if they had time to change it out. I think they left it in and said, risk it for the biscuit, man. Hopefully he keeps it off the wall. And there's Ryan Turk heading to the line. And here goes Frederick Osbo into the burnout box as well. So it's an all Toyota, all Nitto, Papadakis Racing, all Rockstar. The Type S Finals, Type S Touring Products, the official lighting of Formula Drift. And coincidentally, lighting coming on. Ryan, we weren't expecting to go this long, but we saw a lot of incidents. Osbo, Turk, they wanted this, and they got it, man, and they deserve it.
Well, it's a good debut for these guys. Obviously, this is a win no matter which way you cut it. Unfortunately for Chris, we were not able to see him get in to that 3rd place battle as they were wrenching on the car, trying to make it happen. But we will see our finals unadulterated here. Ryan Turk and Frederick Osbo, new teammates this year. Both of them are in brand new cars, and Osbo, ironically, is lining up against the car that he drove last year. So This is definitely going to be an interesting thing to participate in and watch and see what we learn as these guys drive together. Here we go in the finals.
Yeah, this should be really interesting here. The finals are set. Let's send it! Formula Drift. The finals are here. Ryan Turk will lead. Osbo giving chase. Toyota Racing, 1 and 2. What is going to be the order? Osbo quickly getting the backside of Ryan Turk. That gum out. Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback, taking out that front clip. Both these guys on ditto tires. The rotiforms go round, dipping in. Look at that big, nasty snap into that final outer zone. Frederick Osbo and that Rockstar Energy Drink. Toyota Racing, Toyota Supra, Motegi Racing on the corner, wrapped around with Nitto tires.
We're starting to see a bit more about what that Supra can do, and it just seems to have that surging power, that maintaining a grip at any given time. And obviously the confidence of Osbo as a driver. He goes door to door with Turk right into that first outside zone. Turk is leading a great lead run here, just tapping that inside clip. Look at this mirroring effect by Frederick Osbo. But on the transition, Osbo, watch the front wheels. He unwinds it a little bit there, and Turk is able to pull away on a relative basis compared to how close Osbo was through the remainder of the run. So this is a run where Osbo is really sticking tight to Ryan Turk 90% of the run. And then just here at the end, he makes a slight little mistake. So Ryan Turk has got his work cut out for him. That last outside zone has been a factor all event long, and it is once again here. But you can see that the quality lead run from Turk led to a great chase run from Frederick Osbo. Mirroring the line perfectly, doing a great job just at the end here. A little bit of fluff and a slight mistake causing him to drop off for a second. So we saw the mistake from Osbo, incredible lead run from Turk. Let's see what Turk can do in his chase run against Frederick Osbo.
Getting word from Ryan Turk's spotter, Biddies, he's saying still no power steering, equal animal. So he is fighting this vehicle. Frederick Osbo feeling the flow in that Toyota Supra. Let's send it St. Louis and around the world. Whoever is watching, it's an all Toyota final. And here it goes. Shimmy shake into that first outside zone, transitioning into that second outside zone. Frederick Osbo in that Toyota Supra, massive angle here, wide swing. Oh, Ryan Turk straightens out, and that power steering has reared its ugly head. That is hard to fight back. You saw him kind of whip it back, and it straightened out. Big correction there, but it looks like Frederick Osbo will get the victory, unfortunately, due to that power steering pump. But he got here doing 3 battles, a couple of them actually with no power steering. Absolutely amazing. Ryan, let's look at it again. Again, no power steering. High fives for all these teams. But a great, phenomenal day. Some craziness, but it's all going down again tomorrow for round 2.
Well, this is one of those ones. It's not going to be any surprise. Obviously, this is a massive mistake for Turk, but it's not one of his own making. It's a vehicle at the end of the day that just didn't have enough to get through this competition. And then right here, you see this correction from Turk, the understeering effect. Now Osbo needs to finish the run, but 99 times out of 100, he's going to do it with no problems. He gets through the run. And that looks like Frederick Osbo, debuting in the Supra, is going to take the win here at Worldwide Technology Raceway for round 1. Incredible debut for him. Strong performance from Ryan Turk, Chris Forsberg, and Odi Bakchis. But it looks like this one is in the book.
Yep, so we saw that unfold. We saw it transpire. And Frederick Osbo debuting a brand new car, the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota Racing, Toyota Supra of Freddie. Coming out on top. We'll bring them over here, but we'll make it official. But Ryan, a fantastic day here. Really great to see, just to see drifting again. I mean, I'm looking at my phone, seeing what's going on. I like engaging with the fans just to see, you know, information, what's going on, maybe what I said incorrectly, and also getting information even from, like I said, Ryan Turk's spotter. Still no power steering. He says equal animal. And unfortunately, it was the demise of him potentially winning this event, but I still think he's got to be elated, all things considered.
I don't think anybody was oracle enough to know what the outcome of this event was going to be or what it was going to be like to do double headers, and we will still have a lot to learn come the end of the day tomorrow. But these drivers came prepared from the Pro 2 class on Friday and our first event here for round 1 on Saturday. Phenomenal driving across the board. Some new names making it deeper into competition, and then of course this great debut here by Frederick Osbo and Ryan Turk getting into the car that he drove last year. and Odi Bakchi's continuing in his winning ways. Even though he's not #1 tonight, he starts off with the podium and continues that thread that he developed at the beginning of the year last year.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And yeah, I mean, Dan Burket, Taylor Hull, we'll get to that, but let's talk and officially announce them here on the track. And after this, you can join myself and these podium finishers with their carbon fiber trophy. So let's make some noise for them. Third place here at round 1 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Third place in that Falcon Tires Field Suspension S15. Make some noise for Odi Bakchi. And here we go, your winner here at round 1 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Back in these hot cars and hot rods down, as again, don't want to put on those e-brakes. They got to do battle tomorrow again. Your winner here, round 1 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship, behind the wheel of a new vehicle. Your winner, Frederick the Norwegian Hammer Osbo, in the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota Racing Toyota Supra. So used to saying that for so many years. And second place, behind the wheel of the Gum Out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. Both these guys, 1 and 2, Nitto Tire. Second place from New Hampshire, Ryan Turk. There you have it, 1, 2, and 3. Frederick Osbo, Ryan Turk, Odi Bakchi. Ryan, wacky, almost a year since we've seen drifting, and to be honest, I don't know if the Supra could have, was going to perform like this with a new car being developed. Frederick Osbo and Papadakis, it's an amazing formula. So let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette.
Thank you so much, Jared. We have third, second, and first all talking about what just happened on this track. Ryan Turk, turn right around because we are going to talk about that valiant effort that you just put into the finals. Power steering pump was failing. How did you battle through that?
So a lot of people might know when your power steering's gone, if you run the car smooth, transition to transition, you can get around the track. But as soon as you come into a situation where you have to stab the clutch, grab the handbrake, and make a slight correction on the steering wheel, you're pretty much done. So the lead laps were okay. And Odi thankfully ran a really nice, smooth lap, so I was able to just squeak through that. And it started fading with Dylan Hughes. It still worked at high RPM, but started going out, and then, man, I'm like whooped right now. My shoulders are burned up.
I bet. Congratulations on your second place finish. Frederick Osbo, winner of the opening round of 2020. It has been quite an adventure for everybody to get here. And Frederick, I can see the relief on your face. What do you have left for tomorrow?
I don't know, not much at this point. We were really stressed going in here, new car, new everything. To be honest, I was really rusty. Haven't been in a competition for almost a year. And I know Ryan was really tense as well, jumping into this car and a lot of new unknowns. And here we are, top of the I mean, we're here. It's just hats off to the boys, Papadakis Racing boys. Obviously, Steph has done a great job with the car. I think it's clear for anyone to see, and it hid my cobwebs a little bit behind the steering wheel. And for the final stand like that, I feel for Ryan and the power steering, and maybe I drove it a little too hard last year. I'm sorry. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming.
All right, Jared and Ryan, back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Lorette. Congratulations to Frederick Osbo, Ryan Turk, and Odi Bakchi. Ryan, your closing thoughts here on round 1, because we're doing all again.
Tons of nerves coming into the event. Don't know what's going to happen. Haven't been able to make a good prediction in the past 6 months about how things are going to work out in this environment, and whether or not we're going to be able to get teams together, whether or not we're going to be able to do events, whether or not fans are going to be able to come out, whether or not. And the first event is in the books, and I can't be more proud of everybody that we've worked with here this weekend. The drivers have done a tremendous job. Seeing the Pro 2 class just really come into their own this weekend as well just kind of sets the tone for what's to come, and we still have one more to do tomorrow in round 2.
Yeah, exactly. We saw Pro 2. Congratulations to Josh, Love, and of course Hurst. And now congratulations to Mata rounding out third there in Pro 2 yesterday. And now here we have Osbo, Turk, and Bakshis. And again, congratulations to all the drivers competing. But guess what? Wash, rinse, repeat, as we're going to be seeing you tomorrow here for round 2 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. It's all happening again right here at Worldwide Technologies Raceway. On behalf of Lorette Nickel, Ryan Sage, I'm Jared Deanna. The sun is setting. I'm going to head down to the trophy ceremony, so we'll see you back here. Give out those carbon fiber trophies, but we'll see you back here tomorrow. Same drift time, same drift channel. This is Formula Drift.